So I did something incredibly brave today. Or incredibly stupid. The line between those two things has never been thinner. Both my wives were in the same room. Lung Yu, the 6-star killing machine who could snap me like a twig, and Su Chinga, my legally married wife who is currently pregnant with my child. Together, staring at me, in MY living room. And what did my genius brain decide to do? I called them both wife, out loud, to their faces. At the same time, the air in the room dropped to absolute zero. Su Chinga's eyes went so wide I thought they'd pop out. Lung Yu's I literally twitched. Twitched. A 6-star warrior's I twitched because of something I said. That's either my greatest achievement or my death warrant. You shameless bastard, Su Chinga screamed. And you know what? She's right. I am shameless. Because when you're choosing between keeping your face and keeping 2 wives, face can go die in a ditch. I tried to explain it logically. One is my legal wife with a marriage certificate. One is my factual companion with evidence-based relationship status. This is just our current family structure. Su Chinga called me a hooligan. Fair. Then things got scary. Lung Yu started leaking her 6-star pressure at Su Chinga, talking about how the weak have no right to question the strong. And I was like, oh, it's an oh. I blasted my tiger leopard thunder sound at full power and slammed my perfected Azure Dragon Spear aura right between them like a wall. And here's the wild part. Lung Yu actually flinched. Her blood chi stuttered for a second. Even SHE realized I got stronger again. That's right, baby. Your little man can actually suppress you now. Feel that. I gave them both my best head of household speech. No strong or weak in this house. You're both my women, very cool. Very dominant. Very manly. Then Su Chinga just pushed me aside. Literally pushed me out of the way with one hand. Move, Chinyi. This is between me and Lung Yu. Men handle things outside. House business. We'll talk. I just got benched. In my own home. By my 1-star pregnant wife. After my whole dramatic power display. And then, Su Chinga looked Lung Yu dead in the eyes and said she knows she can't protect me right now. Said she won't fight over who came first. Said she only has one condition. Keep him alive. And don't let him bring any more women home. Especially that Shun Rushuang woman from outside. Lung Yu's eyes actually lit up. Completely agree. That Shin Rushuang is definitely a bad woman. Then they both turned to look at me. And about a certain someone calling us wife so smoothly earlier, Lung Yu said, tapping the table with her finger like a mob boss, I think someone's skin is itching for a beating. Su Chinga immediately sidled up next to Lung Yu like they'd been besties for years and went, Lung Yu big sister is right. Chinyi, do you think just because you have 2 people backing you up now, you can act all cocky? She called her sister. Big sister. 1 second ago they were about to fight to the death. Now they're calling each other sister and ganging up on me. Is this what women are? I think I just created a monster. 2 monsters. Who are now friends. I am so dead. So there I was, thinking I'd survive the storm. My 2 wives just became sisters. Crisis averted. Time to sit down, sip some tea, maybe enjoy 5 seconds of peace. Nope. Both of them turn on me like synchronized predators. 2 pairs of murderous eyes locked onto my body at the exact same time. My butt was literally 1 inch from the sofa when the killing intent hit me like a truck. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Both wives, please spare my life. I threw my hands up faster than I've ever thrown a punch. Full surrender mode. White flag. Geneva Convention. Whatever gets me out alive. Chinga, you called her big sister way too fast. Could you at least give me a heads up? Lung Yu just twirled her empty teacup like a villain. Oh? Would you rather watch us fight each other? No opinion. 0 opinions. Sisters getting along is a blessing upon this household. I pretended to wipe sweat off my forehead. But honestly, inside I was doing backflips. They can beat me up all day long. As long as they're not beating up each other, they could hang me from a streetlight for all I care. This is a win. But okay, time to lock in the victory. While the mood was good, I pulled out my secret weapon, the housewarming gift I'd been saving. I placed 3 glowing purple vials on the coffee table. Fancy tubes filled with phantom sea purple saliva essence. The second they hit the table, the whole room changed. Lung Yu literally launched off the sofa like someone electrocuted her. Phantom sea purple saliva essence. And 3 of them. Yeah, 3. 1 vial is enough to make peak 6-star fighters lose their minds. 3 together? Even grandmasters would start drooling. I leaned on the table and laid it out, one for each of us. Nobody refuses. Tonight, whole family goes into closed cultivation together. Xiao Yu Wifey, this helps you break through to 7-star Grandmaster. Chinga Wifey, this strengthens your body and might even awaken your mental powers. I said it like it was the most normal thing in the world. Like handing out candy. Su Chinga just froze. She looked at the vial, then at me, then back at the vial. I could see her eyes getting a little watery. She knew from Lung Yu's reaction alone that this stuff was insanely valuable. And she's only a 1-star. She knows she shouldn't get something this good. But that's exactly why I gave it to her. She's my wife. End of discussion. I could practically hear her internal monologue. This shameless rogue. At least he's not stupid when it counts. Then Lung Yu dropped the bomb. Hold on. She went full serious mode. Ice Queen activated. Chen Yi, you have no idea how brutal the S-Group competition is. Elder Qin gave you these resources so you could dominate the Southern District Championship in 2 months. Not so you could use them as wife-pleasing toys. She pointed at the vials like a prosecutor presenting evidence. All 3 should go to you. If you spread them thin and fail to break through, that's the real disaster. Then she looked at Su Chinga with those sharp phoenix eyes. Testing her. I immediately understood what Lung Yu was doing. This sneaky woman was running a loyalty check. If Chinga hesitated or showed even a tiny bit of greed for the treasure, Lung Yu would know her earlier speech was fake. If Chinga got offended and thought Lung Yu was targeting her, even better proof they weren't compatible. This was a trap disguised as logic. I opened my mouth to argue, but before I could, Lung Yu Jiejia is right. Su Chinga didn't even blink. 0 hesitation. 0 sadness. Just pure calm certainty. I was already thinking it's a waste to give something this precious to a 1-star like me. Husband, you're the pillar of this family. Use all 3 yourself. Then, this woman turned to Lung Yu and said, Jiejia, you should give yours to him too. You've been stuck at your bottleneck for years. 1 vial might not be enough. But if Chun Yi gets all 3, with his talent, he might create a miracle. Lung Yu's lips curled into a knowing smile. That was my plan all along. I stood there watching these 2 women casually give away treasures worth kingdoms. For me, while simultaneously playing 4D chess with each other. Su Chinga passed Lung Yu's test with flying colors. And Lung Yu knew it. My gentle little wife? Her scheming game runs deep. I am simultaneously the luckiest and most terrified man alive. Enough. I activated my Tiger Leopard Thunder sound and shut down the whole self-sacrifice competition before it got out of hand. Both of them were doing that thing where they keep going. No, you take it. No, you take it. Like 2 grandmas fighting over a restaurant bill. I said 1 each, so it's 1 each. In this house, what I say is final. Then I pulled my power move, 1 arm around each woman's shoulder. Smooth? Very smooth. Did you 2 forget what I told you? When you get stronger, it's the same as me getting stronger. Lung Yu's face flickered. I'd told her about this before. She was maybe 50% convinced at the time, probably thought I made it up as an excuse to train with her more often. But now seeing me hand out treasures like candy, the math was starting to add up. Meanwhile, Su Chinga was standing there with giant question marks floating over her head. What? Our cultivation equals your cultivation, and boy, the smugness that appeared on Lung Yu's face. She flipped her hair, and looked at Su Chinga with this expression that screamed, "Oh, you sweet summer child." Chinga Mimi, she said, casually dropping a little sister bomb. There are things about our about Chun Yi that you simply don't know yet. She explained the whole deal with the energy of, I've been dating him longer even though I technically haven't. Basically, we all eat the resources, we all power up, and I get triple the benefit because their gains feed into me too. 3-for-1 deal. Bulk discount cultivation. Su Chinga was shook. I could see her entire brain rebooting. All those months of training, wondering why she could never keep up with me. Suddenly it all clicked. But then she saw Lung Yu looking all superior with that, only I understand him, face, and something inside my gentle wife ignited. She grabbed that vial with determination. Fine. I won't hold my husband back. I will get stronger. Translation. I am not letting this woman one-up me in the wife department. They're competing to make me stronger by making themselves stronger. This is it. This is the greatest system exploit of all time. I have turned jealousy into productivity. This wave is locked in. I looked at my two beautiful women glowing under the lights, one soft and warm, one cold and fierce, and my blood started running a little hot. I rubbed my hands together, reached both arms toward their waists, and put on my smoothest voice. Well then, why wait? Let's head to the training room downstairs. Hubby will give you both a nice, deep exploration of the hibernating Dragon Heart Sutra. My fingers were approximately 0.3 centimeters from making contact. Smack, smack. Both hands slapped away, simultaneously, in perfect sync, like they'd been practicing this move for years. I froze, both hands just hanging in the air like two confused birds that flew into a window. Suchinga and Lung Yu looked at each other. 1 second ago, they were silently competing. Now, united front. Again, both faces red as tomatoes. What are you thinking? Suchinga's gentle eyes turned into laser beams. Lung Yu whipped her head away, trying so hard to maintain the Ice Queen persona, but her ears were glowing red. All you think about is that. Eat dinner first, yes. Dinner. Suchinga patted her baby bump like a shield. I'm not hungry, but the baby is. She used the baby card. She used the baby card. That's an unblockable move. Right. Forgot. Got too excited about cultivation. That's all I was thinking about. Cultivation. Nothing else. I escaped into the kitchen at light speed. Behind me, I heard Suchinga burst out laughing. And when I peeked back, even Lung Yu was smiling softly at her. I think this family is actually going to work. Meanwhile, across town at the Provincial Martial Association headquarters, Old Man Shinshan was sitting in his office reading a fat stack of files about the South Sky Bridge incident. He'd originally just wanted to know how I got tangled up with Grandmaster Yao's missing son. But the deeper he dug, the worse it got for them. Turns out Yao Hailong had been using his daddy's Grandmaster status to bully, rob, and do unspeakable things to female martial artists for years. There was even testimony from a 2-star fighter named Lin Xia about what that scumbag did on the battlefield. All of it had been covered up by Yao's people. But once the investigation team leader Wu's son got taken down, the whole lid blew off. Old Qin's conclusion? Even if I really did make that guy disappear, that it was community service. Old Man Shinshan barely glanced at the evidence files before slapping them down on his desk and picking up the phone. He called Shun Rushuang, who was still on her way back to South River City, and dropped a nuclear order. Stop focusing on the missing person case. Yao Hailong committed multiple serious crimes before he disappeared, attacking registered fighters, threatening civilians, assaulting female martial artists. Launch a full investigation into all of it. Now, Shun Rushuang almost swallowed her own tongue. She understood immediately. Old Qin wasn't just protecting me anymore. He was using Yao Hailong's crimes to cancel out the heat from his disappearance. This man was about to RIP the entire Yao family out of South River City by the roots. All because of me. She texted Lung Yu. Qin is going nuclear. He's digging up everything on Yao Hailong. You just relax and cuddle your little boyfriend. I'll be pulling all-nighters cleaning up the South River mess, but I didn't know any of that yet. Because I was busy being the world's greatest husband. Picture this. Fancy warm lighting, a dining table carved from a single slab of fragrant wood, and food that would make a king cry. We're talking slow-roasted red-shell dragon leg meat that locks in martial energy. Century-old snow ginseng spirit bird soup with actual mist rising from it. All of it specially prepared by the Provincial Association's top chefs for S-Group geniuses. And I gave it all to my 2 pregnant wives. That's right. I was running around that table like a 5-star waiter on his first day. Chinga wifey, drink more soup. The chef said the herbs in here nourish your meridians and help the baby develop. Xiao Yu wifey, try this dragon meat. Your peak 6-star, so high-level beast blood is perfect for your nutrition right now. Great for the baby. Suchinga was quietly sipping her soup, face all rosy from the steam, finally looking peaceful. Then she froze. Her spoon stopped midair. Her gentle eyes turned into daggers. Lung Yu Jieji is also pregnant. The air at that dining table became a crime scene. I scratched the back of my head and went full idiot mode. Hee, lucky me, lucky me. Look at us, double the blessings. Really shows that your husband is. OW. Suchinga kicked me under the table so hard. Lucky? You think this is a lottery. And then, from the other side, Lung Yu's long leg swung in and delivered kick number 2 to my shin. Shut up, 2 kicks. 2 wives. Perfect synchronization. They should enter the Olympics. I just sat there grinning like an idiot. Honestly, kick me all you want. Both my women are pregnant, eating gourmet beast food, and not trying to kill each other. I am winning. Lung Yu dealt with her emotions the warrior way. She grabbed a mountain of dragon leg meat and just went to town on it. Ripping, tearing, chewing. Martial energy was literally radiating off her body as she ate. And somehow she made it look elegant. Like a supermodel at a barbecue competition. Poor Su Chinga watched this display, and her soup suddenly tasted like sadness. I could practically read her thoughts. When will I be that strong? By the time I reach 6-star, this woman will be 7-star, 8-star, probably punching gods. 5 minutes. Lung Yu demolished that entire dragon leg pile in 5 minutes. She dabbed her mouth with a napkin like a lady, stood up, and announced, "Done, Chinyi. You stay here and serve little sister Chinga. I'm going upstairs to shower, then I'll wait in the training room." She dropped that line and walked away, leaving behind nothing but a devastating silhouette and the faint scent of dragon meat. On the stairs, her phone buzzed. Shin Rushuan's message about old Qin going to war against the Yao family. Lung Yu's playful expression vanished instantly, replaced by ice-cold calculation. She looked back at me one more time, sitting there spooning soup for Su Chinga like a domesticated puppy. What kind of spell did this man put on Elder Qin? She wondered, making the most cautious man in the province openly declare war on a grandmaster's family. The storm outside was getting bigger, and somewhere deep inside, Lung Yu made a quiet promise to get stronger. For herself, for the baby, and yeah, maybe a little bit for the idiot downstairs who keeps getting kicked under tables. 1 hour after dinner, we descended into the underground training room, and let me tell you, this place was ridiculous. The alloy doors slid open, and even Lung Yu, a woman who has literally seen everything, stopped dead in her tracks. This is too big, over 1,000 square meters. 10-meter ceilings. Walls made of dark gold alloy that can tank hits from a 7-star Grandmaster without a scratch. Holographic projection arrays on the ceiling glowing blue. The exact same specs as the South River City Martial Association headquarters core training room. Except this one was just for me. Lung Yu ran her fingers along the wall like she was touching a lover. This is S-class genius treatment. Su Chinga looked like she was having an out-of-body experience. 2 months ago, we were in a tiny martial artist apartment. Now we're standing in what is basically a military bunker with top-tier recovery fluids and equipment she'd only ever seen on TV news. But I could see the look in her eyes when she glanced at Lung Yu. She was thinking, this would be so perfect. If it was just the two of us, yeah. The only downside to this paradise is the husband-sharing arrangement. Sorry, babe. Your man is just too popular. I wrapped an arm around her shoulder, then fired up the control panel. Blue holographic projections lit up the entire room. Meridian maps, breathing patterns, explanations of spiritual wavelengths. The full hibernating Dragon Heart Sutra tutorial, floating in midair like something out of a sci-fi movie. This technique trains the spirit, not the body, I explained, going full professor mode. Elder Qin said the average genius takes 1 year just to feel the first spiritual ripple. So no rushing. Don't force it or you'll fry your brain. After getting both wives settled into meditation, I sat down on my own cushion and pulled up the system. System, open interface, host, Chunyi level, 6-star martial artist, gene development, 65%. Technique, hibernating Dragon Heart Sutra, not started, remaining development points, 7, system, how many points to reach entry level, ding. Detected special spiritual class technique, upgrading from, not started, to, entry level, requires 10 development points. 10. My eye twitched so hard it almost detached from my face. The Azure Dragon Spear went from entry to mastery for 10 points. This stupid sutra wants 10 just to get started? Spiritual techniques are on a whole different price tier apparently. Like comparing economy seats to first class. On a spaceship, I looked at my 7 points. Free short. 3. Meanwhile, my wives were struggling. Su Chinga was staring at the holographic diagrams like a first grader trying to read a PhD thesis. Sweat was already forming on her forehead. Lung Yu was doing better. She is peak 6-star after all, but even she was stuck. her energy fluctuating as she hit a mental wall. I needed to break through first. If I could master the basics, I could guide them from a higher perspective. And when they level up from my coaching, I get 10 times the feedback through my system. It's not selfishness. It's investment strategy. So I waited, quietly sat down next to Lung Yu while she meditated. Just sat there, like a patient, caring, totally not scheming husband. An hour later, her eyes snapped open. She exhaled hard and rubbed her temples, wincing. Too hard. I can't figure out how to condense the spiritual energy at that crucial moment. Then she noticed me, sitting right there, inches away. Her face went from pale to pink in about 0.2 seconds. She scrambled backward like a startled cat. What are you doing sitting there? You scared me. I grabbed her cold little hand, exhausted from all that mental strain, and turned on the honey voice. Maximum warmth. Could melt glaciers. Spiritual techniques drain the mind the most. You push too hard on that meridian sequence. Your consciousness, must be throbbing right now. I pulled her up and started walking toward the private restroom on the side. Come on. Your husband learned a special massage technique for spiritual fatigue. Let me give you a deep relaxation session. My hard-working Xiaoyu wifey deserves a reward. Lung Yu stumbled after me, too drained to resist properly. Her whole body was soft and wobbly from the mental exhaustion. But then she looked back at Su Chinga, still sitting out there cursing at holographic diagrams, and her voice dropped to a frantic whisper. Are you insane? Su Chinga is right there. Look, I'm a fair man. During dinner, I was fussing over Su Chinga the whole time. So Lung Yu definitely had jealousy building up inside. Taking her for a private massage was simply balancing the scales. Good husbandry. Equal distribution of attention. Perfectly logical. She won't notice. I dragged Lung Yu into the restroom before she could recover her strength and slammed that soundproof alloy door shut. Beautiful engineering. Could detonate a bomb in here and nobody outside would hear a thing. Inside, soft fragrance, warm golden lighting, a very nice sofa. Relax. Your husband is an upstanding man. You know this. I planted both hands on her shoulders. Now, a peak 6-star warrior's muscles are basically made of steel. A normal person trying to massage Lung Yu would be like kneading a brick wall. But I'm 6-star too, and with my tiger leopard thunder sound vibrating at low frequency through my palms, pumping warm rhythmic energy into her pressure points. HSSSS. Her whole body shivered. The tension she'd been carrying just melted. 2 streams of heat drilled through her shoulder meridians, and her iron wire nerves finally went slack. Don't move. Focus your mind. I went full ASMR voice. Deep. Magnetic. The kind of voice that makes women forget their own name. My fingers slid up to her temples, rotating with precise rhythm. That consciousness sea of hers, the one the hibernating dragon sutra had been beating up like a punching bag, started calming down under my touch. Like rain falling on a desert. Like dropping an anchor into a raging ocean. Told you. Hubby is a professional. My hands traced down along her neck, gliding over her collarbone, settling on the back of her neck where the muscles are most sensitive. Lung Yu's brain completely shut down. Techniques? Gone. Yao family drama? Gone. Championship tournament? Gone. Her entire universe shrank to one hazy thought. Is this scoundrel really just giving me a massage? Meanwhile, I was watching my system panel out the corner of my eye. Numbers going up. Oh yeah. See, Lung Yu is the type. Cold outside, volcanic inside, total control freak from years of being in charge. For women like her, this kind of half-forceful pampering where someone else takes the wheel, that's what spikes the development points the hardest. I am not just a husband. I am a scientist. Then, on the other side of that wall, Suchinga finally gave up staring at the holographic spirit diagrams that were basically frying her 1-star brain. She rubbed her sore eyes, looked around the enormous training room, and realized she was alone. Where's Chunyi? Where's Lung Yu? Where did everyone go? She stood up slowly. Her belly wasn't showing yet, but her wife radar, that sixth sense every woman is born with, locked onto the closed restroom door like a heat-seeking missile. I am about to die. Suchinga's footsteps were getting closer, each step echoing through that massive underground training room like a countdown to my funeral. Chunyi? Lung Yu Jijia. I heard her voice and internally sighed. Okay, game over. Time to let go of Lung Yu, stand up like a gentleman, walk out casually, and explained that I was just performing therapeutic medical services. I glanced at the system panel. Lung Yu's development was sitting at 14%, ticking. So close to more gains. My heart was screaming, 5 more minutes, but my brain was screaming, you will die. Brain wins. I started pulling away, and then Lung Yu went completely insane. Her eyes, which had been all dreamy and melted 2 seconds ago, suddenly flashed with ice-cold calculation. Instead of pushing me away like any sane person would do when footsteps are approaching, this woman wrapped both arms around my neck like a python and kissed me. Full on the mouth. I didn't plan this. My eyes were wide open in pure terror. Click. The door opened. Suchinga walked in and saw everything. But here's the part that made my blood run cold. Lung Yu, this absolute psychopath, tilted her head slightly so she could look past my shoulder directly into Suchinga's eyes. And she smiled. A tiny, victorious, predatory smile that said, he's mine. This woman planned this. She heard the footsteps and chose violence. The bottle of purple crystal nutrient solution slipped from Suchinga's trembling fingers and shattered on the floor. Dark purple liquid splashing everywhere like a visual metaphor for my wife's heart breaking into pieces. You too. Her voice was shaking. Her face went from rosy to paper white in 1 second. I shoved Lung Yu off and spun around, but it was already too late. Way too late. Suchinga's eyes were already filling with tears. And behind me, Lung Yu was just casually fixing her hair like she'd done nothing wrong. This is so bad. This is so incredibly bad. Lung Yu went nuclear. She flipped the entire table just to win one psychological battle. Suchinga covered her face and ran out of the training room. Every cell in my body screamed chase her. I took 2 steps toward the door. A cold hand clamped onto my wrist like a handcuff. What's wrong? Feeling sorry for her. She can't go anywhere. Lung Yu was standing there in the dim light, eyebrow raised, lips still pink and swollen, looking absolutely 0% guilty. I wanted to be furious. I should be furious. But she had a point. This was an S-class secured villa. Armed guards everywhere. Suchinga is a 1-star. She literally cannot leave the compound. She's not going to get lost or hurt. And honestly, if I chase her right now while she's at maximum emotional meltdown, anything I say will just make it worse. She needs to process this. She needs to cry it out. In this world where strength is everything, a man like me who's destined for the top, these situations are going to keep happening. She needs to learn to handle it. Not because I don't care, but because this won't be the last time. I let out a long breath. The urge to chase slowly faded. Then I turned around and locked my eyes onto the culprit. Lung Yu had been wearing her little victory smirk, but the second my gaze hit her, full aggression, full intensity, borderline feral, that smugness evaporated real quick. She let go of my wrist. Her eyes darted sideways. Why are you looking at me like that? You started it. Oh, you want to play with fire? My voice dropped low. Raspy. I stepped forward, and my shadow swallowed her completely. What? What are you going to do? She was trembling now. Different kind of trembling. What am I going to do? I scooped her up by the waist in one motion. The mighty Ice Queen, lifted like she weighed nothing. Since you stopped me from leaving, clearly my earlier work wasn't thorough enough. Time for overtime. Lung Yu smiled. A real smile this time. Dangerous and beautiful, and wrapped her arms around my neck again. You haven't closed the door yet. Close what door? Chinga's not here anymore. Nobody's here. You're crazy. Yeah, we're all crazy in this house. 10,000 words of content redacted by the author. Yeah. Let's just skip ahead 2 hours. The lights were dim. The room smelled like victory and regret. Lung Yu was done. Finished. Broken. Game over. Insert coin to continue. This woman, a peak 6-star warrior who could punch through walls, was lying there wondering if my stamina had a cheat code. Which, technically, yes. Yes it does. Wait. Hold on. Her voice was so hoarse she sounded like she'd been screaming at a concert for 3 days. Nearly begging. Wait for what? You were pretty smug when you kissed me in front of Chinga, weren't you? And the best part? The training room walls were all polished dark gold alloy. Mirrors. Giant mirrors. Everywhere. 360-degree HD surround view. Every single angle covered. Nowhere to hide. The mighty Inspector Lung Yu, terror of criminals, intimidator of grandmasters, currently looking nothing like her usual dignified self. You're not leaving this basement until I'm satisfied. I pulled a special blanket over her afterwards like a gentleman. Because I am a gentleman. A gentleman who just ran a 2-hour marathon. Then ding. Hibernating Dragon Heart Sutra upgraded to entry level. Boom. It felt like someone split my skull open with a cosmic axe, but in a good way. A flood of pure, cool clarity rushed into my brain, like someone poured liquid intelligence directly into my consciousness. An invisible wave pulsed outward from my body in a perfect ring. And suddenly, I could feel things. Not touch. Feel. With my mind. I could sense the tiny pores on Lung Yu's skin rising and falling with her breathing, while my eyes were closed. So this is spiritual mental power. I focused on the blanket covering Lung Yu. One tiny thought, one nudge of willpower, and the blanket moved. Just a tiny bit. But it moved. Telekinesis, baby. I have mind powers. I almost screamed out loud, but forced myself to calm down. Entry level is just the beginning. The range is tiny. The power is weak. But this is like going from black and white TV to seeing in color for the first time. I started cycling the spiritual energy through my consciousness, following those complex pathways that used to look like alien hieroglyphics. Now, they read like my native language. Easy. Natural. Like I'd been doing this my whole life. My breathing fell into a deep, rhythmic pattern. Faint purple mist started forming around my body, the Heart Sutra resonating with my blood energy. I don't know how long I sat there, but when I finally opened my eyes, a flash of purple lightning flickered across my pupils. One full cycle. Complete. The spiritual energy in my consciousness, was small, but alive, darting around like a little fish, flexible yet tough as steel wire. I ran diagnostics on my blood energy circulation. Everything clean. Everything upgraded. A genuine qualitative leap. But the real prize? Now I can actually teach my wives this technique. Guide them from above instead of fumbling in the dark together. And when they break through from MY coaching, 10 times. Return. The golden age of farming development points has officially begun again. I scooped up Lung Yu, who was basically a human noodle at this point, and zoomed upstairs to her bedroom. Tucked her in like a baby. She curled up under the covers and let out this tiny, helpless little sound that made my heart do something weird. I kissed her forehead. Sleep. When you wake up, I'll teach you the Heart Sutra. Gentleman status. Restored. Then I stepped into the hallway and heard it. From the next room over. Sniff. Jerk. Sniff. Pervert. Oh no. Suchinga was crying into her pillow. I pushed open her door without asking. Who told you to come in? Go away. Go find your Lung Yu. Let me be alone. A pillow came flying at my face. I caught it with one hand like swatting a fly. Did I leave? Absolutely not. I pulled back her blanket and dove in like a heat-seeking missile, wrapping her entire tiny body in my arms before she could escape. You want to be alone? Who's this alone person? She tried pushing me away, and I cannot stress this enough, she is 1 star. I am 6 stars. Her punches felt like a kitten batting at a mountain, so she did the only thing she could. She bit my shoulder. HSSSS. I pretended it hurt. It didn't. She could chew on me all day and wouldn't leave a mark. But I played along because I'm a good husband and used the moment to pin her down, face to face. Done biting? Good. Now listen. What I did in the restroom was wrong. I couldn't control myself. This is my official, sincere, heartfelt apology. She turned away. I don't accept. That's not an apology. That's bragging. See, now you're the one being unreasonable. I went full serious voice. I made a mistake. I apologized. That's my part done. But you refusing my apology? That's you disrupting family harmony. That's you provoking me on purpose. And as the head of this household, when someone breaks the rules, I am obligated to enforce. Family discipline. My hands started moving. Chunyi. Let go. This is. Remember this, Chinga wifey. I looked straight into those glistening eyes of hers, smiling like the villain I absolutely am. Once you entered the Chun family door, you are mine in life and mine in death. No exceptions. That is the authority of the family head. Next morning. Breakfast table. The most awkward meal in human history. Suchinga was hunched over her medicinal porridge, eyes still lazy and pink from last night's. Law enforcement. She could barely look up. Across from her, Lung Yu was maintaining her ice queen composure, except her hand was trembling holding the spoon, and she was wearing a high-collared silk scarf wrapped tight around her neck. Hiding evidence. Very suspicious. Very telling. Neither of them spoke. Their eyes met for 1 second, and both instantly looked away like they'd touched a hot stove. Suchinga was thinking about what she saw in the restroom. Lungyu was thinking about what she saw in those mirror walls. Both of them were thinking about what happened after. And me? I sat down, radiating pure dominance. No slacking. Lungyu, you're 1 step from 7-star. Chinga, you need to break through to 2-star. We start now. I marched both of them back into the underground training room. The heavy alloy doors sealed shut. 3 of us stood in a triangle formation. Both women were giving me these looks, half resentful, half embarrassed, 100% dangerous. But then I dropped the nuke. Quick announcement before we start. I stood with my hands behind my back, bathed in the blue holographic glow. My eyes flickered with a hint of purple. Real casual. The hibernating dragon heart sutra. Dramatic pause. Both of them staring at me. That I've already reached entry level. What? Impossible. Both screamed at the same time. Same pitch. Same volume. Same bug-eyed expression. They're becoming more synchronized every day, honestly. Lungyu rushed forward. Chinyi, don't joke around. That's a top-tier spiritual technique. Elder Qin said average geniuses take 1 year to reach entry level. And when Qin says average genius, he means people who are already way beyond normal. Even if you're a monster, it hasn't even been 24 hours. 24 hours? More like overnight. But sure, let's not get into the details of what I was doing during those 24 hours that helped me break through. Some secrets are better left in the basement. Behind soundproof doors. With mirror walls. Suchinga tilted her head like a confused puppy. Husband, are you just making this up to make us feel better? Lungyu crossed her arms. Pure skepticism. Fine. You want proof? I'll give you proof. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and unleashed my spiritual energy through the Heart Sutra pathways. An invisible ripple blasted outward from my body like dropping a boulder into a still lake. And then, the papers on the table started floating. No wind. No strings. No tricks. Just sheets of paper rising into the air and slowly spinning like tiny UFOs. But that wasn't even the best part. Both women gasped at the same time because the wave washed through their brains like cool mountain spring water, instantly erasing all the headaches and mental fatigue from yesterday's failed meditation attempts. Free brain massage. You're welcome. Lungyu's jaw hit the floor. That's spiritual mental power. She'd only ever seen this from dedicated psychic masters who'd trained for decades. And I did it in 1 night. The papers drifted back down with a soft rustle. Both women just stared at me, mouths open, brain cells rebooting. What? Stunned by your husband's talent, I walked between them, grinning, and wrapped an arm around each waist. And you know what? Neither of them slapped my hand away this time. Not even Lungyu. She went stiff for like half a second, and then just let it happen. That's how shook she was. My telekinesis broke her resistance. Chinyi, be honest with me. Lungyu's voice was actually trembling. Were you born with spiritual potential? Because even if you're a once-in-a-million-years genius, there's no way you enter this technique overnight. Training the body is already going against heaven. Training the spirit is stealing from heaven itself. Then she hit me with the real kicker. And you didn't even use the 3 Phantom Sea vials. They're still sitting there. How? Valid question. Great question. The answer is, well, I smiled my most shameless smile. Xiao Yu wifey, remember what I told you? When you two work hard, I get stronger. It took about 3 seconds for the implication to land. Lung Yu's face went nuclear red. You have no shame. Suchinga looked like she wanted the earth to swallow her whole. Because yeah, the hard work, that powered my breakthrough. That wasn't meditation. That wasn't training. That was the 2-hour session in the mirror room and the family discipline enforcement afterwards. They were my cultivation resources. Both women looked at each other. In each other's eyes, they saw the same mixture of absolute disbelief and mortifying embarrassment. But the evidence was right there. Floating papers don't lie. Brain-clearing waves don't lie. I went from 0 to entry level in under 24 hours without touching a single drop of the S-rank medicine. The only explanation was the one that made them want to crawl under a rock and never come out. And yet, underneath all that embarrassment, I could see it. A tiny spark of something else. Hope. Especially in Lung Yu's eyes. She'd been stuck at peak 6-star for years. The 7-star Grandmaster realm was her dream, her obsession, the thing she wanted more than anything in the world. And now she's learning that the path to Grandmaster might involve more quality time with her husband. Oh, the conflict on her face was delicious. Half of her wanted to punch me. The other half was already doing the math on how many sessions it would take to break through. The 3 purple vials were still sitting untouched on the table. I hadn't needed them. My wives are the resources. System farming is back in business, baby. Back in the training room, I was sitting cross-legged between my 2 wives, checking the system. Spiritual mental power, 0.1% tiny number. But I wasn't worried. Because the real play isn't me grinding solo. It's getting both wives to awaken their own spiritual power so I can collect that sweet 10 times return. Why do one push up when your wives can do push-ups for you? Xiaoyu, Chinga. Feeling anything yet? Lung Yu snapped at me. It hasn't even been 5 minutes. Su Chinga just frowned in concentration, saying nothing. Good girl. Working hard. Future development points right there. But while I was peacefully coaching my wives in our underground luxury bunker across town in South River City, someone was having a much worse day. Grandmaster Yao Guangyuan, daddy of the trash son I may or may not have permanently removed from existence, was losing his mind. Crash. One antique wooden table, destroyed, reduced to sawdust. His lackey Li Zhan was kneeling on the floor, sweating bullets, delivering the news. Sir. Elder Qin Shan personally signed the order. They're forming a special investigation team for the Yao Hailong incident. That old bastard. He's spitting in my face. Yao Guangyuan's roar shook the ceiling chandelier. Purple battle energy was slithering around his body like angry snakes. My son is missing, maybe dead, and Qin Shan wants to put him on trial? He's protecting that Chun Yi brat at all costs. Then Yao Hailong's birth mother stumbled in, crying her eyes out, dripping in gold jewelry. Guangyuan, how can they be so cruel? Our son is gone and they want to dig up crimes. Shut up. Stop crying. Grandmaster Yao swatted her away like a mosquito. Zero warmth. Absolute zero. Your father is dead. His connections dried up years ago. Unless you want to go beg his old friends at the Provincial Association? See if anyone remembers the Grandmaster's daughter? OOF. That was cold even by villain standards. See, here's the tea. Yao Guangyuan only married this woman for her daddy's resources. Her father was a respected grandmaster who helped Yao reach his own grandmaster level. But once daddy died, wife became useless furniture. And Yao Hailong, the son I deleted? Yao Guangyuan blamed the mom's inferior genes for his son's trash talent. This man literally looked at his own missing child's case and thought, I have 2 secret 3-star illegitimate sons being trained in hiding. 1 defective unit lost is no big deal. Father of the year, everyone. What he actually cared about was his reputation. And more importantly, the secret behind my rapid growth. That Qin kid must have some incredible secret. Otherwise Qin Shan would never go this far. He wouldn't risk war with a grandmaster over some random genius. Smart man. Evil, but smart. He paced around, doing the math. Fight Qin Shan head on. Can't win. Assassinate me? If it leaks, the government crushes him like a bug. Wait for me to grow. In a few years I might become a grandmaster myself, and then his whole family is finished. So Grandmaster Yao chose option D, bribery. Li Zhan, go load a 50 million equipment card. 50 million. Take it to Shun Rushuang. Tell her it's the Yao family's gift of apology to Chun Yi. We drop our investigation into Hailong's disappearance, and Qin Shan drops his investigation into Hailong's crimes. Clean slate. Everyone walks away. 50 million to make the problem disappear. That's how scared he was. But then, the old fox pulled something else out. He walked into his inner chamber and came back holding a bottle that glowed with mesmerizing purple gold light. The liquid inside shimmered like it contained a tiny galaxy. Li Zhan almost stopped breathing. Purple sky dragon marrow. The legendary resource that Yao Guangyuan himself used to break through to grandmaster level. Discontinued. Extinct. The kind of thing only ancient grandmasters had. And once you used a bottle, it was gone forever. Rumor was his dead father-in-law left him the supply. Li Zhan, how long have you served me? 30 years, sir. You saved my life. Without you, I'd be bones in a ditch. The grandmaster sighed and looked at Li Zhan with something almost resembling warmth. handing over 50 million and pulling out the rarest cultivation drug on the planet? Something tells me this isn't just a peace offering. This old snake is planning something big. And whatever it is, it's aimed at me. Meanwhile, back at villain headquarters, Grandmaster Yao handed Li Jian the glowing purple gold bottle with the warmest smile you've ever seen. This is Purple Sky Dragon Marrow. It'll help you sense the bridge to Grandmaster Realm. Drink it. And when you get back, I want you to train some talented youngsters I've got my eye on. Li Jian's brain broke. The legendary drug? For him? And training youngsters, Li Jian knew the truth. Those youngsters were Yao's secret illegitimate sons. Being asked to train them meant becoming a core elder of the Yao family. Basically being promoted to, if I die, raise my kids, status. Sir, I don't deserve this. Li Jian was literally crying. Shut up and drink it. Li Jian chugged that bottle like a college freshman at his first party. The liquid hit his stomach like lava. Veins popping, eyes bulging, energy rampaging through his meridians. But through the agony, he could feel it. His 6-star bottleneck, stuck for years, was actually cracking. He was so grateful he slapped himself across the face twice. Smack. Smack. I'm sorry I ever questioned you, sir. Never again. Yao Guangyuan chuckled warmly. We're family, no need for that. Now go. Hurry back. Li Jian marched out that door like a man reborn. Chest puffed. Power surging. Feeling like Grandmaster Realm was within arm's reach. The second he disappeared around the corner, Yao Guangyuan's smile dropped like a mask falling off a corpse. Those warm eyes? Ice. Pure, dead, more temperature ice. He walked back to his chair, pulled out a white handkerchief, and carefully wiped the hand that had touched Li Jian's shoulder. Like he'd pet a stray dog. Purple Sky Dragon Marrow? Huh. That was a purple flame trigger. 30 years of loyal service. And this man just turned his most devoted follower into a walking bomb. Father of the Year. Boss of the Century. Husband goals. This guy collects terrible person trophies. But I didn't know any of that. Because I was busy doing important cultivation research in the restroom. The lights were set to soft pink. Calming aromatherapy mist floating through the air. Very zen. Very therapeutic. Lung Yu was face down on the leather massage bed, legs crossed, looking exhausted from hours of failed meditation. Her temples were throbbing, and those fierce phoenix eyes were droopy with fatigue. What are you doing now? This woman is a peak 6-star killing machine. But every time I touch her, all that power just evaporates. Like someone hit her off switch. She couldn't resist me if she tried. This guy is the worst. She was mumbling into the pillow. Chinga is still out there meditating. Her voice was literally mosquito volume. Technically a protest. Practically an invitation. Relax. The soundproofing is top tier. And Chinga has her eyes closed focusing. As long as you don't get too loud, she won't hear a thing. I'll kill you. She definitely got too loud. With Su Chinga's 1-star hearing, she probably caught every note of that performance. Lung Yu buried her face in the blanket, wanting to dissolve into the fabric. I can never look Su Chinga in the eye again. Just as I was about to continue my very legitimate cultivation coaching session, a phone rang. Lung Yu's head shot up like a startled deer, eyes still half-glazed, half-murderous. Terrifying combination. I picked up the phone. Screen said, Shen Rushuang. I grinned. Then, because I am a chaos agent, I hit speakerphone. Right there. With Lung Yu listening. Chen Yi, what are you up to? Shen Rushuang's lazy, flirty voice filled the entire room. Lung Yu's eyes went from embarrassed kitten to I will end everyone in this room in exactly 0.4 seconds. I love my life. It's terrifying, but I love it. Oh, just busy. I said into the phone, smooth as butter, while my other hand was casually tracing circles on Lung Yu's bare back. Deep cultivation coaching with my wife right now. What's up, Vice President Shen? Oh, coaching your wife? Let me guess, which one? The beautiful Su Chinga or the mighty Inspector Lung? Lung Yu's face turned the color of a fire truck. She was waving her fists at me in complete silence like a furious mime, eyes screaming. Say anything stupid and you die. I just laughed. Why, Vice President Shun? You jealous? Want to join our after-hours tutoring program? You little flirt. One of these days your wives are going to make you kneel on a washboard. Then she got serious. Someone wants to visit you. Bringing a big gift from the Yao family. A personal apology. I raised an eyebrow. The Yao family. Apologizing? To me? Who? Li Jian. Yao Guangyuan's top servant. Peak 6-star. He's sitting outside my office right now, begging me to escort him to the provincial capital so he can grovel at your feet. I looked at Lung Yu. Her playful embarrassment vanished instantly, replaced by razor-sharp calculation. Li Zhan was Grandmaster Yao's most trusted man. Sending him with gifts at this timing? Something smelled funny. You think the old fox actually wants peace? I asked Shenru Shuang. Or is he playing a game? Hard to say. But Elder Qin's investigation has him cornered. He's probably trying to buy his way out, throw money at the problem, give Qin Shan a face-saving exit, and buy himself breathing room. The gift is supposedly a very large equipment card. I looked down at Lung Yu in my arms. She looked back at me with those calculating phoenix eyes. The Yao family was showing weakness. This was a once-in-a-lifetime chance to secure our rear flank. And more importantly, free money is free money. You don't say no to a sheep walking into the wolf's den. Well, Vice President Shun, since Grandmaster Yao is being so generous, it would be rude to turn him away. Bring him over. And come yourself. I've been missing your charming company. I pinched Lung Yu's waist as I said this. She nearly bit through her own lip, trying not to make a sound. See you tomorrow, Shenru Shuang purred, and hung up. The room went silent. Lung Yu shot upright, not even caring that she was still a mess, and grabbed my arm. Yao Guangyuan surrendering this easily? It's a trap. I pulled her back into my arms. Trap or not, this is MY territory. Dragons coil up when they visit. Tigers lie down. Nobody acts tough in MY house. Now, Xiao Yu wifey, instead of worrying about him, maybe worry about whether you'll have enough energy left for actual cultivation later. You. MMPH. Next day. Noon. I was standing on the rooftop terrace watching the mountain road when Shenru Shuang called. 30 minutes out. Got it. I hung up immediately. Half an hour later, her black SUV rolled up to Villa 001. She stepped out looking sharp, brought one female assistant, and behind them, Li Zhan in all black, eyes closed, looking composed. Shenru Shuang called me again. It rang once and I hung up. She was furious. I could practically feel the rage through the phone waves. But listen, a man's gotta maintain presence. Can't be answering calls on the first ring like I'm desperate. That's negotiation 101. The front door opened, and Lung Yu walked out to greet them. And this is where things got hilarious. Shenru Shuang took one look at Lung Yu, and her brain short-circuited. See, Lung Yu was dressed in her usual cold, dignified outfit. But as a woman, and as Lung Yu's bestie of many years, Shenru Shuang noticed everything. The lingering laziness between her eyebrows that hadn't fully faded. The neck that was suspiciously pink and glowing from being well-nourished. The way she walked with a barely hidden trembling in her steps that she was desperately trying to control. Shenru Shuang's inner gossip demon exploded. Holy! She and Chun Yi actually. They really. My god. Xiao Yui. Shenru Shuang abandoned all professional dignity and waved like a maniac. Wow, look at you. Living in the provincial genius villa is treating you so well. Your skin is just glowing. White with a rosy tint. Is the spiritual energy here especially nourishing? Lung Yu's ice queen mask cracked. Red crept up from her neck to her ears like a spreading wildfire. She shot Shenru Shuang a death glare. Stop talking nonsense. Did you drive all this way just to gossip? Even the female assistant behind Shenru Shuang was staring with wide eyes. This is the legendary ice mountain goddess of South River City? She doesn't look like an ice mountain at all. She looks like a peony flower that just got drenched in spring rain. Blooming, dewy, absolutely radiant. Up on my rooftop terrace, I watched the whole scene unfold and smiled. My cultivation coaching results are showing excellent external effects. Lung Yu is practically advertising my services. Li Zhan stood outside our villa like a statue, scanning for me with those dead fish eyes. And here's the thing. That purple sky dragon marrow was pumping through his veins, making him feel like a god. He was mentally calculating that he could take Lung Yu and Shenru Shuang at the same time. Cute. Wrong. But cute. Lung Yu came out to greet them, trying very hard to act normal. Chen Yi is at a critical point in his cultivation. He'll be out soon. Let's go inside for tea. The word, cultivation, left her mouth and her earlobes turned red. She knew exactly what I was doing upstairs. And it was not meditation. Shenru Shuang's detective instincts kicked in immediately. Cultivation? At this hour? Since when is he so diligent? Everyone has their own training schedule. Mind your business. They went inside. Li Jian sat like an iron statue on the sofa, meditating, refining his drug. Professional. Patient. Good boy. Shen Rushuang lasted about 45 seconds before she cracked. She grabbed Lung Yu's arm and dragged her into a corner behind the dining room like they were in high school. Lung Yu, confess. Did you actually do IT with that little man? And Su Qingge lives here too? Are you all really? Lung Yu was getting machine gunned with questions. Her face was approaching temperatures that could cook an egg. We were cultivating. Actually cultivating. Cultivating? Shen Rushuang pointed at the red mark on the back of Lung Yu's neck that her scarf failed to hide. What technique leaves that? The divine farmer tastes all herbs? Or maybe the dragon and phoenix in harmony? Legendary roast. Absolute devastating burn. Lung Yu had no comeback. Nothing. Brain empty. Mouth open, 0 words. And then, from the second-floor bedroom, came a very faint, very rhythmic, very unmistakable little sound. Both women froze. See, Shen Rushuang is a 6-star fighter. Her hearing is basically superhuman. That tiny sound from 2 floors away. Crystal clear reception. HD audio. Dolby surround. Silence. Dead. Absolute. Silence. Shen Rushuang slowly turned her head toward the second floor, then slowly turned back to Lung Yu, who looked like she was about to spontaneously combust. That single syllable contained confirmed gossip excitement, grudging respect, and a tiny splash of jealousy she didn't even realize she was feeling. Quite the vigorous cultivation session up there. Qin Yi really is full of energy, isn't he? Lung Yu wanted to die. She covered her face with both hands. Not a single word came out. Just pure, concentrated shame radiating from every pore. Then, yours truly came strolling down those stairs like a king, buttoning up my black shirt, laughing my best hearty laugh, looking absolutely radiant. Sorry to keep you waiting, Vice President Shun. Mr. Li, my apologies, I was glowing. Blood pumping, energy surging, radiating the kind of masculine aura that makes people do double takes. Shen Rushuang straight up stared. Her brain went blank for a second. Then she licked her lips, probably without even realizing it. No wonder Lung Yu ended up like that. This man is a male siren. Even Li Jian, who'd been sitting there feeling invincible after chugging his power juice, opened his eyes and flinched. Something about my energy made his instincts scream danger. He couldn't figure out why. Didn't he just power up to near Grandmaster level? Why was this kid giving him chills? Lung Yu saw my big, stupid grin and wanted to strangle me. She knew I was showing off. I was basically a peacock fanning its tail at the entire room. And honestly, she was right, because I had very good reason to show off. Current development points, 34. 34 points, baby. Su Qingge's cultivation session upstairs just juiced my system like nothing else. Combined with last night's work with Lung Yu, I'd gone from 7 points to 34. That's enough to upgrade the Heart Sutra multiple levels. And the beautiful part? The stronger I get at the Heart Sutra, the better I can coach my wives. The better they learn, the more points come back to me 10 times over. It's a perpetual motion machine of gains. I sat down in the host chair, looking effortlessly cool. Vice President Shun, we're old friends. Make yourself at home. Shen Rushuang sat down, crossed those silk-stocking legs, and gave me a look that said, I know exactly what you were doing, and I have opinions. But she kept it professional. My house, my rules. What happens behind closed doors is none of her business. I couldn't care less about her teasing looks. The second I sat down, all my attention went to one thing. System. Upgrade the hibernating Dragon Heart Sutra. The grind never stops. Even with guests in the living room. Especially with 34 points burning a hole in my pocket. The second I sat down, I silently fired off the upgrade. Ding. 20 development points consumed. Remaining, 14 points. Hibernating Dragon Heart Sutra upgraded to Proficient. Boom. My brain basically detonated. But in the good way. If entry level opened a little well in my consciousness, Proficient just turned it into a whole lake. Cool, clear, deep, and absolutely buzzing with power. Spiritual mental power, 1%. Sounds small? That's 10 times what I had before. And this is just the initial renovation. Daily practice will keep pumping those numbers up. Everyone in the room felt it. To them, I went from terrifyingly sharp spear to terrifyingly sharp spear wrapped in mysterious fog, deeper, more dangerous. The kind of presence that makes people uncomfortable without knowing why. Shen Rushuang's legs switched, crossing positions. Subconscious reaction. Did this kid just change again? I turned my gaze, now with a faint purple shimmer, directly onto Li Zhan. Mr. Li, what brings you to my home today? That one look made him break into a full-body cold sweat. He felt like I'd stripped him naked and x-rayed his skeleton. He'd only ever felt that kind of pressure from Grandmaster Yao himself. What demonic technique did this kid learn? He swallowed his pride fast. All that. I could take Lung Yu and Shun Rushuang together. Confidence from 5 minutes ago? Gone. Evaporated. Poof. Mr. Chun. Grandmaster Yao sent me to express the Yao family's sincerity. He pulled out a dark gold crystal card with both hands like he was offering tribute to an emperor. Grandmaster Yao has investigated the Yao Hailong incident thoroughly and confirmed you had nothing to do with it. He admires your talent greatly. Please accept this small token, just a gesture to smooth things over. He hopes you might put in a good word with Elder Qin. All past conflicts, wiped clean. I took the heavy card and flipped it between my fingers. 50 million. Nice weight. Grandmaster Yao is quite generous. But while I was playing casual, my new spiritual sense was doing a deep scan on Li Zhan's body. And what I found made my eyes narrow. There was energy inside him. Wild, unstable, tinged with purple gold. It was churning through his meridians like a caged beast. He was hiding it well on the surface, but to my upgraded perception, might as well have been wearing a neon sign. Something was wrong with this man. Or had I seen energy like this before? Well, since Grandmaster Yao is being so polite, it'd be rude to refuse. I pocketed the card smoothly. I'll pass along the message to Elder Qin. What he decides is up to him. I'm just the messenger. Li Zhan almost deflated with relief. Card accepted. Mission complete. Thank you, Mr. Chun. I'll take my leave now. He bowed and headed for the door at a speed that was just short of running. I could feel it. His back was drenched in cold sweat. Every second near me felt like an invisible hand was squeezing his heart. He wanted out. Shen Rushuang stood up too, ready to leave with him. Vice President Shun. I stopped her mid-step. Why not stay a couple days? My eyes tracked Li Zhan as he walked toward the front door. Something about that unstable energy worried me. If it blew up while Shun Rushuang was in the car with him on some remote mountain highway? Bad. Very bad. So I needed an excuse. And I needed it now. Actually, Lung Yu has been talking my ear off about you. Says she's bored in the provincial capital and misses her bestie. Wants some girl time. Right, Xiao Yu. Teacher, I almost called her Xiao Yu wifey in front of everyone. Caught it at the last syllable. Smooth recovery? Questionable. Lung Yu's face went through 7 emotions in 2 seconds. Shock. Rage. More rage. Disbelief at the audacity. Suspicion that I was into Shun Rushuang. Murder intent. When did I ever say that? This excuse is so bad. You just want that fox woman to stay, don't you? But then she caught my eyes. Laughing on the surface, dead serious underneath, and her combat instincts kicked in. Something was wrong. She didn't know what, but she trusted me enough to play along. Li Zhan paused at the door. Didn't even look back. If Mr. Qin wants to catch up with Vice President Shun, I'll head back alone. Please do, Mr. Li. Then I turned to the female assistant. Actually, miss, I have something that needs to go to Elder Qin at the Provincial Association. Could you deliver it personally? The assistant looked relieved. She'd been getting creepy vibes from Li Zhan too. The thought of being alone in a car with that man on a long drive had been giving her anxiety. Yes, Mr. Chun. Right away. Li Zhan noticed me separating everyone from him and cold smiled. He knew I was flexing, putting him in his place, showing dominance. But he didn't care. Mission done. Card delivered. He bit down on his pride, said nothing, and marched out to grab a hover car. Gone. The living room went quiet. Shen Rushuang sat back down, crossed those silk-stockinged legs, fixed me with a stare that could peel paint. Her expression said, Chen Yi, you better have a damn good explanation for why you just made me stay. I do, actually. But it involves the words, your friend's escort might be a walking time bomb planted by an evil grandmaster, and I'm still putting the pieces together. For now, I just smiled. I watched Li Zhan's car vanish down the mountain road, then turned to the female assistant still standing there awkwardly. Actually, forget the delivery to headquarters. Since Vice President Shun is staying, we need a proper dinner. Go contact the chef team and order the highest grade ingredients. The poor woman just smiled weakly. She knew the delivery to Elder Qin was a fake mission to separate her from Li Jian. And now even that was canceled. Yep, big people stuff. I'll just go order food. She bowed and left. Smart girl. The door closed. Just me, Shen Rushuang, and Lung Yu. I collapsed into the sofa and dropped the act completely. Vice President Shun, everything I said was from the heart. From the heart, Shen Rushuang hit me with a smile so cold it could freeze lava. Chenyi, your face is thicker than the city walls of South River. You think I don't know Lung Yu's personality? Her begging me to stay for girl time? She'd rather eat glass. Lung Yu was sitting there turning colors, glaring at me with pure disgust. Keep acting, Chenyi. Please. Keep going. Shen Rushuang crossed her arms under her chest, which, by the way, made her professional outfit do things that were very distracting, and turned to Lung Yu. See? He's still performing for us. Lung Yu sighed. Chenyi, no outsiders here anymore. What did you actually find? Why did you send Li Jian away and keep Rushuang here? Okay, fun's over. My smile faded. That purple glint flickered through my eyes. There's something inside Li Jian's body. Something wrong. The room went dead silent. Wrong how? Shen Rushuang frowned. I was sitting next to him the whole time. He seemed fine, stronger than before actually. Vigorous blood energy. I tapped my knee, replaying what my spiritual sense had picked up. That purple gold energy swirling inside Li Jian, it felt greedy. Violent. Like a parasite wearing a power-up costume. I'd seen something like it before. Somewhere. But the memory slipped away before I could grab it. Maybe I'm just tired from too much. Wife coaching. Both women's faces twitched, but I pressed on. Look, his energy is stronger. But it's not right. I can't explain it perfectly, but my gut says if you'd gotten in that car with him for a 3-hour mountain drive, something bad could have happened. Shen Rushuang rolled her eyes. If Grandmaster Yao wanted to hurt me, he'd just do it directly. Why send 50 million and a walking bomb? That's bad economics. Fair point. Terrible logic for a villain. But still, she uncrossed and recrossed her legs. Fine, I'll stay 2 days. South River City can survive without me. Then she grinned. But Chenyi, how many bedrooms does this place have? Where am I sleeping? Vice President Shun, my bed is very large. I don't mind sharing. In your dreams, I laughed and excused myself to call Elder Qin. Headed upstairs. The second I disappeared, I heard Shen Rushuang pounce. Xiao Yu, where do you think you're going? Shen Rushuang let go of me. No outsiders now. Confess. How exactly does your cultivation coaching work? And that sound I heard from upstairs earlier. Are you insane? That's none of your. Tell me, or I'll ask Chenyi. That boy will tell me everything, and you know it. I closed the study door on the sounds of my girlfriend being interrogated by her gossip-addicted bestie. Not my problem right now. I pulled out the dark gold equipment card. 50 million credits. Enough to make any 6-star fighter sell their grandmother. But Grandmaster Yao doesn't give gifts for free. This was bait, test, and hot potato all rolled into one. I called Elder Qin. Ah, Chenyi. Settling in well. Elder Qin, your prediction was spot on. Li Jian just visited. Dropped off a 50 million equipment card from Grandmaster Yao. Apology money. Brief silence. Then a contemptuous laugh. 50 million? Huh. Yao Guangyuan must be desperate. That confirms he's got serious problems. Keep the money, son. You earned it. The money's fine. But Elder Qin, Li Jian himself is the issue. I described everything my spiritual sense had detected. The unstable purple gold energy. The predatory feel. The wrongness. I can't put my finger on it exactly, but his energy is different from any other 6-star fighter I've sensed. Different from Lung Yu's. Different from Shen Rushuang's. Wait. Hold on. Elder Qin cut me off. His voice shifted from casual to intense. You said you saw the energy inside his body. Yeah? I used spiritual mental power. His blood energy just looked different compared to. What? You awakened spiritual mental power. The old man practically screamed through the phone. Oops. Did I forget to mention that part? My bad. I've been so busy with other activities that reporting my impossible overnight breakthrough kind of slipped my mind. In my defense, it's been a very productive 24 hours. Say that again. You awakened spiritual mental power? You're not lying to me? Elder Qin was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. Dude, You gave me the technique. Why are you acting surprised that I learned it? Yeah, I practiced the hibernating dragon heart sutra you gave me, and my consciousness kind of cracked open. I can project spiritual energy now. Range isn't huge, but I can see people's insides way better than before. Elder Chin, I should really be thanking you for thanking me my ASS. The dignified Provincial Martial Association president just swore at me. That's the hibernating dragon heart sutra. I gave it to you for long-term development, to boost your chances when you eventually push for Grandmaster. The geniuses I brought back have been soaking in secret medicines since age 3. They all have the same technique. The fastest one took a full year to reach entry level. And you? How long have you had it? 3 days? Stay where you are. I'm coming over. Click. I stared at my phone. This sneaky old fox. Back at headquarters, he told me, average geniuses take 1 year. I thought that meant normal talented people. Turns out, average genius, in his vocabulary, means the cream of the crop among freaks of nature. And 1 year was the speed record. Meanwhile, I hit entry level in 1 night and proficient by morning. No wonder he lost it. But hey, the more monstrous I look, the harder he protects me, the more resources I get. Come on over, old man. Maybe you can tell me what that weird energy in Lijian was too. Downstairs, World War III was happening on my sofa. Shen Rushuang. Let go. I'm seriously getting mad. Lung Yu's scarf had been yanked sideways, exposing all the red and purple evidence on her neck. Her clothes were a mess. She looked like she'd lost a wrestling match, which she basically had. Shen Rushuang was examining the marks like a forensic scientist at a crime scene. TSK, TSK, TSK. These are from cultivation. These are clearly bite marks. Chen Yi chewed on you. You used to say training is my only love. Now look at you, completely conquered. She poked Lung Yu's blushing cheek. So, is there something special about him? Share with big sister. Shen Rushuang, I will end you. I opened the study door and looked down from the second-floor balcony. Shen Rushuang was straddling Lung Yu on the sofa, black-stockinged legs dangling off the edge, while Lung Yu was pinned underneath looking like a boiled lobster. Ahem, instant transformation. Shen Rushuang dismounted with the grace of an Olympic gymnast, smoothed her skirt, and sat there looking like a refined professional who had definitely not just been wrestling her best friend for gossip. Flawless acting. 10 out of 10. Lung Yu shot upright, frantically fixing her hair, wanting to evaporate. Done with your report? Shen Rushuang asked, perfectly casual. The smirk in her eyes said otherwise. Done. And Vice President Shun, you seem to be settling in nicely. Well, the amenities are excellent. Especially the private tutoring sessions. Very soothing to listen to. Great for sleep, really. Lung Yu looked like she wanted to sew Shen Rushuang's mouth shut with wire. Anyway, I continued. Elder Chin is on his way. Should be here soon. Both women froze. Elder Chin? Because of Lijian? Partly. Mostly because I accidentally mentioned I awakened spiritual mental power. Dead silence. Lung Yu glared at me. Show off. Shen Rushuang stared at me like I'd grown a second head. You what? Spiritual mental power? I smiled my most innocent smile. Yep, that's what the tutoring sessions produce. Then I looked her dead in the eyes. Vice President Shen, if you're really curious, you're welcome to join tonight's class. Her face exploded red. This woman, who has stared down criminals, negotiated with grandmasters, runs an entire city's martial association, was suddenly squeezing her legs together and trying not to look flustered. Tutoring, she forced out a cold laugh, voice shaking just slightly enough for me to notice. What if I tell Elder Chin exactly what your tutoring involves? Vice President Shin, Elder Chin only cares about results. As long as our district produces top-tier talent, he'd encourage us to collaborate more. I sat down, completely relaxed, radiating righteousness. After all, this is for the future of humanity. For fighting the beast tides. We must all make sacrifices. Lung Yu rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. This man gets more shameless by the hour. Shen Rushuang was staring at me like I'd just proposed at a funeral. Exchange ideas? Top-tier geniuses? Future of humanity? Chen Yi, don't put a noble hat on your dirty little schemes. Your tutoring wouldn't pass a content review and you're out here talking about saving mankind. Fair point. But I stand by my thesis. Meanwhile, Lung Yu had gone completely silent. Too silent. I should have noticed the danger signs. Because inside her head, a nuclear alarm was blaring. This man already has two of us, and he's hitting on Shen Rushuang right in front of me? Human future, my ass. Before I even registered movement, her hand shot out like a striking cobra. Fingers locked onto the softest, most vulnerable chunk of flesh on my waist. And then she twisted. 300 degrees. AOWWWW. I launched off that sofa like a rocket. This woman is peak 6-star. Her grip can bend alloy. She nearly unscrewed my kidney from my body. Lung Yu, that's attempted murder on your own husband. She dusted off her hands with zero remorse. Those cold eyes looked at me like I was roadkill. Didn't someone want to contribute to humanity's future? Since you're so noble, maybe your kidneys would be more useful donated to a research lab. Want me to remove them for you? For science, I had absolutely no comeback. None. Zero. She checkmate me with my own words. Shen Rushuang lost it. Full body, bent over, tears in eyes, laughter. Ha ha ha. Lung Yu, beautiful. That's how you handle him. Achieving true household harmony is going to take a while. Then boom boom boom. Fighter jet engines. The sky shook. Everyone looked up. An Aurora-class warship with the Provincial Martial Association insignia was landing on MY helipad. 9-star Grandmaster pressure blanketed the entire neighborhood like a weighted blanket made of fear. The hatch opened, and out walked Elder Qin Shan. Gray cloth outfit. Simple shoes. Looking like somebody's grandpa going to the market. Except his eyes could melt steel. Elder Qin, Shen Rushuang, and Lung Yu bowed in unison. Elder Qin, that was fast. He didn't even look at the women. His eyes locked onto me like targeting lasers. Zero greeting. Zero small talk. He walked straight up and jabbed his finger at my forehead. An ocean of spiritual pressure crashed into my brain. Shen Rushuang and Lung Yu, peak 6-star warriors, stumbled backward like they'd been hit by a shockwave. They couldn't even think about resisting. But I understood. This wasn't an attack. It was a test. Fine, old man. You want to see it? I'll show you. I opened the floodgates. My consciousness lake churned into a tsunami. The Heart Sutra roared to life. A faint wisp of purple chi flickered across my forehead. I shaped my spiritual energy into a spear and drove it straight at his finger. Boom. An invisible explosion of colliding spiritual forces sent shockwaves through the air. Good. 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 3 goods from a 9-star Grandmaster. That's basically a standing ovation. He pulled his finger back, eyes blazing with a joy I'd never seen on his face before. His poke had carried decades of refined spear intent, something that would flatten any 6-star fighter. I didn't just block it. I almost pushed back. It really is spiritual mental power. He was looking at me like I was the last dragon egg on Earth. Qinyi, I thought your spear mastery was already a miracle. But this, you need to understand. We Grandmasters channel intent through weapons and bodies. My finger had to touch your forehead to test you. But spiritual mental power? One thought can move mountains. In ancient times, people with this ability were called gods. With this power, comprehending martial arts will be 100 times easier. 1,000 times. Shen Rushuang's brain had officially blue-screened. She knew I was a freak. She did not know I was this level of freak. She was looking at me with awe and something deeper that she probably didn't even recognize yet. We went back inside. Elder Qin claimed the main seat. Shen Rushuang served tea. I described everything I'd sensed in Lijian. The unstable purple-gold energy, the predatory feel, the wrongness I couldn't quite identify. I've seen energy like that somewhere before, Elder Qin. I just can't remember where. SEE. A horrifying shriek tore across the sky from the east. So loud the floor-to-ceiling windows vibrated. So sharp it felt like someone driving an ice pick through my eardrums. Everyone jumped to their feet. We rushed outside. The sky, clear blue 5 seconds ago, had turned purple-red. Storm clouds churning. Lightning crackling inside them. A pressure in the air that screamed destruction. I stared at that purple-red sky, and boom. Something detonated inside my memory. I knew where I'd seen that energy before. The memory hit me like a freight train. Lijian's energy. That purple-gold, greedy, violent signature. I'd felt it before, on the South Sky Bridge battlefield. Its purple flame. The Beast Emperor's energy. The words flew out of my mouth before I could stop them. That stuff inside Lijian. It's identical to the purple flame Thunder Eagle's attack signature. Elder Qin's face went dark. But there was no time for questions because the sky was turning into a nightmare. Half the horizon had gone purple-red, clouds churning with lightning, radiating pure destruction energy. All of you, follow me. Elder Qin ripped off his gray robe, literally tore it apart, revealing dark gold alloy battle armor underneath. This old man was prepared. He kicked off the ground like a human missile, bounced up to his hovering Aurora warship 100 meters in the air, and, boom, gone. A streak of light shooting toward the purple apocalypse sky. I stood there blinking. Did he just say, follow me, and then fly away at Mach 5? I looked at Lung Yu. Lung Yu looked at me. We both looked at the empty sky where a 9-star Grandmaster had been standing 2 seconds ago. Was he serious? Follow you how? With what? My legs? Shenru Shuang was already moving. Stop staring. Get in the car. She sprinted to the SUV like a woman possessed, ripped open the driver's door, and was ready to go. I turned to Lung Yu and grabbed her shoulder. Xiao Yu, stay here. I'm coming too. And oh, my face went completely serious. No jokes. No games. Full authority. Listen to me. Stay home. Rest your body. The instant those words left my mouth, I realized what I'd done. Lung Yu froze. Her entire face went from battle-ready warrior to tomato. Not just her face, her neck, her ears, everything turned pink. Because, rest your body, in front of Shenru Shuang basically meant, yeah, I just announced to the world's biggest gossip that my girlfriend needs recovery time. In broad daylight. But I didn't have time to regret it. I was already sprinting to the car. In the driver's seat, Shenru Shuang's eyes were the size of dinner plates. She slowly turned to look at the frozen, crimson-faced Lung Yu standing at the door. Rest your body. Her voice hit that specific pitch that meant her gossip reactor had gone critical. Don't listen to him. It's not what you think, Lung Yu screamed, looking like she wanted the earth to open up and eat her. I jumped into the passenger seat. Vice President Shun, drive? Shenru Shuang looked at Lung Yu. Looked at me. That smile spread across her face like a slow-motion explosion. Heh, Chen Yi, you really are a caring husband, she floored it. The engine roared. Blue exhaust flames. We were gone. Behind us, Lung Yu was standing at the villa entrance, probably setting a new world record for sustained blushing. Chen Yi, you shameless idiot. Shenru Shuang is going to hold this over me forever. She stomped her feet in fury. But as our car disappeared down the highway, worry crept in past the embarrassment. In the car, Shenru Shuang was weaving through traffic at speeds that made the speedometer give up. The scenery outside was just colored streaks. So, Chen Yi, you really did a number on her. She glanced at me sideways, grinning while dodging cars at 200 miles per hour. Rest your body. TSK, TSK. The famous ice mountain goddess of South River City, huh? Who would have thought? Vice President Shun. Eyes on the road. This car is tough. We'll be fine. Now tell me, how did you do it? How did you tame her? I was staring at the purple-red sky getting closer and closer. Some things lose their magic when explained. Pause. But if you're really curious, I could tutor you tonight. You. She stomped the gas so hard the car practically broke the sound barrier. Tutor me? In your dreams. Then silence fell. Because ahead of us, the purple-red clouds ripped apart like paper. And from behind them, diving at impossible speed, came a monster. Wingspan over 100 meters. Entire body covered in purple lightning armor. A trail of warped electric light blazing behind it like a comet of destruction. The purple flame Thunder Eagle. 8-star Beast Emperor. The same nightmare that had been driven off not long ago was back. In broad daylight. Diving straight toward the outskirts of the provincial capital. Shenru Shuang's hands shook on the wheel. Her pupils shrank to pinpoints. And that's when everything clicked. Li Zhan didn't just drink a power-up potion. Grandmaster Yao fed him a beacon. A homing signal made from Beast Emperor energy. That old monster didn't send 50 million as a peace offering. He sent a bomb wrapped in a bow, and the detonator was an 8-star flying death machine. The highway was chaos. Cars everywhere, people abandoning vehicles and running for their lives. And right in the middle of it all, Li Zhan, sprinting against the crowd, jumping across car rooftops like a rabid gorilla. Move. Everybody get out of my way. His eyes were bloodshot. The purple gold energy inside him had gone from gentle stream 2. Volcanic eruption. He was losing his mind, literally. His brain was filling with violent, murderous images. The only shred of sanity left was reminding him that massacring civilians in the provincial capital would be bad for his career. He stomped through an SUV roof like it was cardboard and launched himself into the air. Then the sky opened up. SCE. The purple flame thunder eagle, a 100-meter wingspan of purple lightning death, came diving through the clouds like a missile aimed directly at Li Jian. Those massive beast eyes locked onto him with the precision of a GPS tracker. Because that's exactly what he was. A GPS. A beacon. The purple sky dragon marrow wasn't a gift, it was a dinner bell. Grandmaster Yao didn't promote his most loyal servant. He turned him into bait. 30 years of loyalty, rewarded with becoming bird food. But Li Jian didn't know that yet. Because in his final moments, the energy inside him exploded, shattering his 6-star bottleneck. He actually started breaking through to 7-star. Huh. Grandmaster Realm. Finally. The eagle's beak came down faster than thought. Scooped him up like a sparrow catching a caterpillar. Crunch. One of South River City's most feared warriors became a red mist in the sky. 30 years of service. Gone in one bite. Elder Qin came screaming out of the clouds like a golden meteor, dark gold spear aimed straight at the beast. Back OFF. Monster. But the eagle had just eaten Li Jian's breakthrough energy and gotten stronger. Purple flames ignited across its entire body. Instead of dodging, it headbutt Elder Qin's spear attack. Clang. 9-star Grandmaster versus peak 8-star Beast Emperor. The shockwave cleared every cloud for miles. Elder Qin got knocked flying like a baseball. The eagle stumbled too, but its massive wing clipped the highway bridge. Boom, boom, boom. Hundreds of meters of bridge, just gone. Alloy support pillars snapped like chopsticks. Cars, concrete, and screaming civilians plunged into the destruction below. Fire. Dust. Alarms shrieking. Absolute apocalypse. Get out of the CAR. I kicked the door open. Traffic was completely dead. Cars piled up, people running everywhere. The SUV was useless now. Shenru Shuang and I moved simultaneously. She popped the trunk, grabbed a silver armor case, and hurled it at me. Put this on. I ripped my shirt off in one motion. Just shredded it. Fabric flying everywhere. Full muscle display in broad daylight. I caught Shenru Shuang staring. Her face went pink even in the middle of an apocalypse. That body. No wonder Lung Yu fell. The silver battle suit flowed over me like liquid metal. Done in 2 seconds. Your turn, Vice President Shun. Turn around. Don't look. I turned around. Like a gentleman. Then I peeked. Like a man. Had enough? She was already done, black skin-tight combat suit that made her curves look absolutely criminal. And she kicked me right in the butt. Ow. Vice President Shun. My eyes were closed the whole time. Closed? Your eyeballs were practically falling out of your head. She glared at me. But I saw it. That little spark of fear she'd been carrying since the eagle appeared. It had faded. The banter calmed her down. Good. Because we were about to run toward a 100-meter flying death machine that just ate a man and headbutt the Grandmaster. And I was only 6-star. This was going to be fun. No time for jokes. No time for flirting. We moved. Shenru Shuang and I launched ourselves across the stopped traffic like human missiles, bouncing off car rooftops and lampposts. She moved like a cat, light, graceful, barely touching surfaces before leaping again. I moved like a cannonball. Every step I took caved in a car roof and left a footprint in solid metal. Above us, Elder Qin and the Thunder Eagle were going at it. Every collision sounded like the sky was breaking apart. Sonic booms rattling my teeth from a kilometer away. We got closer to the disaster zone, and it was bad. The bridge was a smoking hellscape. The Marshal Association Enforcement Squad and city defense troops had set up barricades. Civilians were flooding out in waves, crying, pushing, screaming. Megaphones blaring. All 4-star and above fighters, please step forward for rescue operations. Nobody was stepping forward. The low-rank fighters were standing outside the perimeter looking pale and terrified. Can't blame them. There's an 8-star Beast Emperor overhead turning the sky purple, and the bridge was basically a furnace of fire and falling concrete. Mid-tier and high-tier fighters were all in the city center or on missions. Too far. Too slow. Just us. Shenru Shuang and I locked eyes. No words needed. We launched over the crowd's heads, clearing the entire mob in one leap. Halt. Restricted zone. Fall back immediately. The enforcement squad captain, big bearded dude, pulled his shield blade. Soldiers behind him drew electric batons. Shin Rushuang did a gorgeous mid-air flip, landed perfectly, and flashed her badge in one motion. South River City Martial Association Vice President Shin Rushuang. This is my partner. We're here on Elder Qin Shan's orders. The captain's breath caught. He looked at the badge, looked at me. His eyes widened. He'd already been briefed. Vice President Shin and Provincial Genius Camp Chief Chen Yi, inbound for support. That was me, the chief of the Provincial Genius Camp, standing right in front of him. The man snapped to attention so fast I thought his spine would crack. Salute. Linjiang City 3rd Enforcement Squad Captain, reporting to Vice President Shin and Chief Chun. Let them through. We didn't wait for pleasantries. 2 blurs. 2 trails of dust. Gone. The captain stared at our disappearing afterimages. So that's what 6-star fighters look like. Incredible. Up above, Assyria. The Thunder Eagle was raging. Purple flames wreathing its entire body. Claws like cast iron, every swipe dragging lightning across the sky. And dancing around it like a ghost, one tiny black dot, was Elder Qin. Bang, bang, bang. Rapid-fire metal impacts echoed like machine gun thunder. Sparks exploding with every clash. A human fighting a monster the size of a building, blow for blow. So that's a 9-star Grandmaster's power, fighting a beast emperor with nothing but a human body. I was in awe. For exactly 1 second. Then I snapped out of it. That fight was way above my pay grade. Nothing I could do up there. But down here, on this crumbling, burning bridge, people were dying. My eyes scanned through the smoke and found it. A white passenger bus, flipped on its side, wedged against a twisted alloy support beam at the edge of a broken bridge section. Half the bus was hanging over empty air, fuel leaking, hissing, and from inside, screaming, crying. People trapped, terrified beyond reason. There, Shin Rushuang saw it at the same instant. But I was already moving. My feet exploded through the concrete road surface. I became a silver streak, afterimages trailing behind me, crossing dozens of meters of debris in a heartbeat. Shin Rushuang was right on my tail. We dove straight into the smoke and fired toward that dangling bus. No system tricks. No development points. No wife coaching energy farming. Just speed, strength, and the fact that people were about to die if we didn't get there in the next 30 seconds. Time to be an actual hero for once. Before I even reached the bus, my ears picked up the worst sounds imaginable. Not screaming. Not crying. Complaining. Shut your kid up. If she cries one more time, I'll throw her off this bridge. Stop pushing me. This outfit costs more than your annual salary. Where are the fighters? Why isn't anyone here yet? For women in designer clothes had shoved their way to the front of the exit, blocking 2 terrified mothers and their crying children behind them. The bus was leaking fuel. Sparks everywhere. This thing could blow any second, and these ladies were worried about their outfits. I activated my spiritual sense. 1% power. Doesn't sound like much, but it can see through metal walls like they're glass. I scanned the bus interior. Confirmed. For awful humans in front, 2 moms and 2 kids trapped in back, fuel dripping, fire imminent. Solution? Shut up. One pulse of spiritual energy swept through the bus. All 4 women's brains went blank simultaneously. They dropped like puppets with cut strings. Nap time, ladies. Shin Rushuang stared at me. So that's what spiritual mental power looks like in combat. But I wasn't done. I reached my hand out toward the burning fuel tank underneath the bus, hanging in midair over the ocean, impossible to reach physically without falling, and grabbed it with my mind. Crunch. Ripped the entire flaming tank off the bus chassis with pure telekinesis. Flicked my wrist. The burning hunk of metal sailed through the air in a beautiful arc and splash, straight into the sea below. Holy, Shin Rushuang couldn't even finish. She's a 6-star fighter too, but she had no solution for a burning fuel tank dangling over a cliff with no foothold. She would have had to fall with it. I just waved my hand and yeeted it into the ocean. His telekinetic force must exceed 1,000 kilograms. Then the bus started sliding. Without the fuel tank's weight, the balance shifted. 10 tons of metal started screeching toward the broken edge. Shin Rushuang flew to the back of the bus. Those long legs braced against the bridge, hands pushing against the frame, 6-star energy exploding out of her body. She was trying to hold 10 tons of bus on a tilted, crumbling slope. Her face went white. Her feet dug craters into the alloy surface. It wasn't enough. Move. I slammed my hands under the chassis. Tiger leopard thunder, sound roaring through every cell. Spiritual power pushing simultaneously. Bruin, the bus moved. Backward. Up the slope. I was shoving a 10-ton vehicle uphill with raw force, while Shin Rushuang braced from behind. Her eyes went huge. She could feel it. My output was beyond hers. A 6-star fighter who was stronger than another 6-star fighter in pure power. That's not supposed to happen at the same level. But just as the bus lurched back onto solid ground, the jolt knocked a little girl out through a shattered window. She slipped from her mother's arms and tumbled into empty air. And oh, Shin Rushuang screamed. She'd just burned everything stabilizing the bus. No energy left. No way to reach the child. The girl was falling. And then she stopped. Midair. Just. Floating. Like someone pressed pause on gravity. An invisible hand caught her. My mind wrapped around her tiny body like a cocoon. She drifted sideways through the air, light as a feather, and settled gently into my arms. Wind blew past us. The little girl was too shocked to even cry, just staring at me with enormous eyes. I looked at Shin Rushuang and smiled. She's fine. Shin Rushuang exhaled so hard I thought she'd deflate. Cold sweat covered her forehead. She was looking at me like I'd just performed an actual miracle. Then the sky exploded again. A booming voice echoed across the entire city. You came here, beast. Now you're not leaving. Shin Rushuang's eyes lit up. That's Goldblade Su Lin. Another Grandmaster. 2 Grandmasters versus 1 Beast Emperor. Good odds, right? Wrong. Because the purple clouds split open again. And behind them emerged a second Thunder Eagle. Bigger. Meaner. 9-star. There. Married. I swallowed hard. The first eagle, bleeding, battered from fighting Elder Qin, heard its partner's call and immediately retreated into the clouds. The 9-star mate covered its escape. 2 Grandmasters stood in the sky, weapons raised, murder in their eyes, but neither pursued. A 9-star Beast Emperor plus its 8-star partner? Even 2 Grandmasters weren't eager for that death match. The beasts didn't want casualties either. Mutual deterrence. Cold war in the clouds. Both eagles vanished. The purple sky faded like a receding tide. Sunset broke through, painting everything in bloody orange light. I stood on the broken bridge and really looked at the destruction for the first time. Twisted metal. Crushed cars. Exposed steel beams dripping black oil. The smell of burning and blood thick enough to taste. Distant crying. This wasn't a novel anymore. People died here today because one evil Grandmaster turned his loyal servant into beast bait. Because monsters are getting stronger faster than humans can keep up. That seed of reality planted itself deep in my chest. Elder Qin landed on a broken guardrail. His left shoulder armor was shattered, the wound so deep the blood had turned black. 9-star life force was slowly misting up from the injury, self-repairing. Elder Qin, you're hurt. It's nothing. That beast's attacks carry thunderfire poison now. It's gotten tougher since last time. He took off his helmet. An old, wrinkled face. Tired eyes. He looked at the smoking ruins below. At the ordinary people trapped between life and death. And he sighed. That sigh was quiet. But it landed on my heart like a boulder. I'm getting old. Really old, he smiled. But it was the saddest smile I'd ever seen. I thought I could protect this province for another 30 years. But these beasts are evolving faster than we expected. He turned and looked straight at me. Those ancient eyes, cloudy but seeing everything. My only wish now is to hold on a few more years. Long enough for you kids to grow up. Long enough for someone in this province, in this whole southern district, to be strong enough to take this spear from my hands. The sunset stretched his shadow long across the broken bridge. For the first time since I got this system, since I started farming development points and joking about wife coaching, I understood what all this power was actually for. My tiger leopard thunder sound was rumbling inside me like a war drum, but my mind was ice cold. Elder Qin's words hit different after watching a bridge full of people nearly die. Chenyi, grow faster. Spiritual mental power is impressive, but 6-star is nowhere near enough. He stared toward where the eagles vanished. What he didn't say out loud was louder than what he did. That 8-star eagle was knocking on 9-star's door. If it breaks through, those two lovebirds will unleash a beast tide this province hasn't seen in 100 years. And Elder Chin, already bleeding from today's fight, might not be able to stop it. I understand, Elder Chin. I won't let you down, but my brain was already doing math. Me getting stronger means my wives getting stronger. Which means, Elder Chin, what's the fastest way for me to break past 6-star? His eyes flared. Fast? Yes, you need fast. There's no shortcut except resources plus real combat. What you need is King Blood Essence, extracted from the heart blood of 5-star and 6-star Beast Kings. It contains explosive life force that can smash through physical bottlenecks. Problem is, Beast Kings live deep in the wilderness. Hard to find, harder to kill, but the top 3 finishers in the Southern District Genius Championship in 2 months get King Blood Essence as a reward. Win that tournament. Get it. Don't disappoint me. His warship swooped overhead. The old man jumped 100 meters straight up into the hatch like it was nothing. Engine roared. Gone. Just me and Shun Rushuang on a broken bridge. I glanced at her. She was looking at me with something complicated in her eyes. Then I raised an eyebrow at her. The universal, told you so, look. Because if she'd been in that car with Li Zhan when the eagle came, she'd be paced right now. Pervert, she muttered, rolling her eyes to the heavens. But hidden in that eye roll, gratitude she'd never admit to, and something softer she hadn't even noticed herself. Then she bit her lip. Chunyi, I have a bottle of King Blood Essence. I looked at her. She looked at me. That was unexpected. Back at the villa, I barely had time to breathe before a soft body crashed into my chest. Husband, you're finally back. Suchinga had just woken up, still sleepy-faced, pink-cheeked, adorable, but her eyes were wide with fear. The earthquake-level shockwaves from the battle had woken her up, and she'd been panicking. I wrapped my arms around her and kissed her forehead. Relax. Your husband is too tough for the Grim Reaper. He doesn't want me. You. Pervert. Her face went crimson, especially when she felt Shin Rushuang's laser beam gossip eyes drilling into her back. Shin Rushuang stood behind us, watching the reunion, and did an elegant eye roll. These two. Get a room. But underneath that sarcasm, a tiny prick of sourness she couldn't explain. She glanced at Lung Yu, who was walking out of the villa trying to look cold and unbothered. But her entire soul was clearly focused on me. Every molecule of attention pointed in my direction. How does this man have 2 women completely wrapped around his finger? I let go of Su Chinga and walked toward Lung Yu with my best shameless grin. She stuck her hand out and pushed my chest, keeping distance, eyes glaring. Translation, Shin Rushuang is right there. Behave. You're all safe. Good. Her voice was robot-level flat. I leaned in and whispered, Got it. I'll protect your inspector dignity while we have company. Her Ice Queen mask cracked, ears turning pink. She spun toward Shin Rushuang with forced composure. Vice President Shun, please come inside. Shin Rushuang's smirk could power a city. Living room. Business time. Vice President Shun, I'll accept the King Blood Essence. No games. I pulled up a tablet and typed out a contract on the spot. This is a loan. When I reach 7-star Grandmaster, or within 1 year, whichever comes first, I'll repay you double. 2 bottles of identical King Blood Essence. I slid the tablet across the table. Su Chinga and Lung Yu both went wide-eyed. Especially Lung Yu. She knew how rare this stuff was. The fact that Shin Rushuang even had a bottle was incredible. Offering it to me was an insane act of trust. And Shin Rushuang? Zero hesitation. She picked up the stylus and signed her name without even reading the fine print. Total, unconditional faith. In me. Lung Yu watched this happen and felt something cold crawl up her spine. Not jealousy exactly. More like strategic alarm. This foxwoman. Isn't she investing a little too heavily in my husband? The wife wars just gained a new potential contestant, and she doesn't even know she's entered the race yet. Vice President Shun, very generous. She picked up her tea, perfectly poised. This isn't generosity. It's an investment. Having the provincial genius camp chief owe me a favor? That's a bargain. Our eyes met over the teacups. Something flickered in hers that she quickly buried. But I saw it. Su Chinga saw it too. Her eyebrows twitched. The 2 inside haven't calmed down yet, and now there's another one circling like a hawk? She sighed quietly, looking at me with a mixture of pride and exhaustion. This man is becoming a lamp, and every butterfly in the province is heading this way. Welcome to my life, Chinga. It only gets worse from here. Then, my phone rang. Official Martial Association line. Mr. Chinyi? This is the Provincial Martial Association Secretariat. Ultra-sweet professional voice. Maximum respect energy. On behalf of the Provincial Association, we extend our highest admiration. Your heroic actions during today's Linjiang City Highway Bridge incident have been fully recorded by on-site equipment. Following an emergency meeting, the Provincial Association has decided to award you the title of Annual Rescue Model and grant you one S-Class technique of your choosing. Hold up. It's been less than 2 hours. They already had an emergency meeting, decided on awards, and picked out an S-Class technique? That's not bureaucracy. That's Elder Chin speed running the entire approval process. Additionally, in 3 days, the association will host a charity gala and commendation ceremony at the Linjiang Victory Hotel. Many high-ranking provincial figures will attend. You are cordially invited as a special guest of honor. Show up for one evening, grab an S-Class technique. Network with the province's elite? That's the easiest yes of my life. I'll be there. I hung up and rubbed my chin. Something about this felt bigger than just a good job pat on the back. Then Shen Rushuang's phone rang too. She answered, listened, hung up. I also got invited. Same award. Same gala. I shrugged. Guess we were pretty impressive today. She shook her head slowly. As a vice president, she knew exactly how long these approvals normally take. 3 to 5 days minimum for this level of recognition. Getting it done in 2 hours meant one thing. Elder Chin personally steamrolled every layer of bureaucracy. But free awards are free awards. Nobody's complaining. Meanwhile, at the Provincial Association headquarters, a man was standing at a floor-to-ceiling window, staring into the night. A 7-star Grandmaster. His subordinate reported, Sir, both Chun Yi and Shun Rushuang have accepted the invitations. The Grandmaster turned around. His eyes were full of emotion, gratitude, relief, and a debt that weighed heavier than mountains. Because that little girl I caught falling off the bridge, that was his niece. His older brother's only child. His brother, the man who raised him, protected him his whole childhood, who nobody dared bully him because of, was torn apart by beasts 3 years ago in a beast tide. Dying, he entrusted his entire family to his little brother. If that girl had died today, this Grandmaster couldn't have faced his brother in the afterlife. This debt is too heavy. He stared at the footage of me catching that little girl mid-air with telekinesis. I will attend the gala personally. In 3 days, this favor, I will remember. So my casual telekinesis catch just earned me a 7-star Grandmaster's personal gratitude. I didn't even know. Honestly, best accident ever. And in North River City, inside a hidden luxury estate, Grandmaster Yao Guangyuan was watching the battle footage with a face like he'd eaten a lemon wrapped in barbed wire. His plan had worked. The purple flame trigger inside Li Zhan successfully summoned the Thunder Eagle. But Elder Chin showed up way too fast. Intercepted the beast before it could cause maximum damage. How did that old bastard get there so quickly? Even a 9-star shouldn't have been able to reach that location in that time frame without advance warning. His fingers drummed on the purple sandalwood desk, eyes shifting between dark and darker. He didn't know the answer. But I did. Elder Chin was already at my house when the eagle attacked. Because I told him about the weird energy. Because I have spiritual mental power. Because I sensed something wrong with Li Zhan. Grandmaster Yao's plan failed because of one variable he never accounted for. Me. And he still doesn't know it. Meanwhile, in his secret lair, Grandmaster Yao was doing villain math. Li Zhan was dead. No witness, no evidence. Even if Elder Chin suspected something, what could he do? Can't arrest a 7-star Grandmaster without proof. Li Zhan, don't blame me for being heartless. Blame your bad luck. 30 years of loyalty. Reduced to bad luck. This man should win an award for worst boss in history. Actually, he already won that. And worst father. And worst husband. He's going for the trilogy. Turns out the fake, purple sky dragon marrow was designed to turn Li Zhan into a walking buffet for the Thunder Eagle. And by feeding the beast a peak 6-star sacrifice loaded with purple flame energy, Yao Guangyuan had completed a transaction with something called the Heaven Gate Cult, a banned organization that worships human-beast fusion and trades in forbidden techniques. Their payment? Beast King Essence. The exact thing I needed to break through. Yao Guangyuan wanted it to reach 8-star and finally stop feeling inferior to Elder Qin. The bridge full of dead civilians? The loyal servant he murdered? Just ants crushed on his path to power. This man needs to die. Adding it to the list. Back at the villa, Shun Rushuang stood up to leave. Those combat suit legs catching the light in ways that should be illegal. Well, everything's settled. I'll send the King Blood Essence tomorrow morning. I won't be a third wheel any longer. Vice President Shun, why not stay a few days? The gala is in 3 days anyway. I said it casually. Just testing the waters. A little lure thrown into the pond. Her foot stopped mid-step. She turned around. Our eyes met. Her heart skipped. I could practically hear it with my spiritual sense. Here's the thing about Shun Rushuang that nobody knows. Behind the cold beauty vice president exterior, she goes home to a 300 square meter apartment that's completely empty. No family. No warmth. Just reports and silence. After today's near-death experience, explosions, beast screams, a collapsing bridge, that loneliness was hitting her hard. She was actually craving the chaotic warmth of this ridiculous villa, even if that warmth came seasoned with 2 other women's jealousy. She glanced at Lung Yu. Lung Yu's eyes were screaming. Get out. 2 giant neon words. Goodbye. Leave. And that was Shun Rushuang's tipping point. Because if there's one thing this woman can't resist, it's doing exactly what Lung Yu doesn't want her to do. Oh, Lung Yu, the harder you push me away, the more I want to. Stay. She flipped her hair, turned to me with a voice so sweet it gave Lung Yu goosebumps. Since the chief is so sincere with his invitation, it would be rude of me to decline. I'll graciously accept your hospitality for a few days. She sank back into the sofa like she owned the place. Now, let me be honest with myself for a second. Did I expect her to actually say yes? No. Did my heart rate spike? Absolutely. 2 months ago, I was a broke nobody who couldn't even look at a woman like Shun Rushuang without tripping over my own feet. Now she's lounging in MY Villa accepting MY invitation. But this wasn't just about attraction. My brain was running cold calculations. Shun Rushuang is a 6-star fighter. If she joined my family ecosystem, the system feedback would be astronomical. Enough to potentially blast me straight to 7-star Grandmaster. And after today, watching that eagle shatter a bridge like cardboard, watching Elder Qin bleed, seeing ordinary people crushed like insects, I knew 6-star wasn't enough. Not even close. If Elder Qin falls, if those beast emperors attack together, my pregnant wives become corpses under rubble. Being faithful means nothing if everyone I love dies because I was too weak. In this world that eats people alive, only grandmasters get to sit at the table. Everyone else is on the menu. If being a greedy villain is what it takes to protect them, then fine. I'll carry that name. I want it all. Something hardened inside me. The last trace of hesitation burned away. Great, I said. Great, Lung Yu said at the exact same time. Wait. We both froze. Looked at each other. My confident smile locked in place. Then I saw her eyes. Those were not great, welcome eyes. Those were, I will dismember you in your sleep, eyes. Lung Yu said, great, the way a serial killer says, great, when they find out their target is staying overnight. I may have miscalculated. Lung Yu moved at a speed I've never seen outside of actual combat. Before I could even blink, she was on her feet, across the room, and had Shun Rushuang's arm locked in a grip that looked friendly but was clearly rated for restraining prisoners. Stay? Great idea, Rushuang. Her smile was the scariest thing I've seen today, and I literally watched a man get eaten by a giant eagle. We haven't had a proper girls' night in so long. I have so many things I want to talk about. All night long, she started dragging Shun Rushuang toward the stairs. Not walking, dragging. Like a bouncer removing a troublemaker from a nightclub. Let's go? Right now. Shun Rushuang barely had time to react. But that woman is a professional provocateur. Even while being physically hauled away, she managed to look back at me over her shoulder and throw a flirtatious wink that could stop traffic. Chief Chin, don't blame Big Sister. I try to stay. But your inspector is just too strict with the curfew. Our tutoring session will have to wait for another day. Slam. Guest room door. Shut. Locked. Probably barricaded. The living room went dead silent. Just me and Suchinga. My hand was still frozen midair in the I was about to make a move position. My mouth twitched violently. That's it. 1 second ago, I was having my big villain moment. I want it all. I'll be the bad guy. Nothing can stop me. Internal monologue like a warlord about to conquer a nation. Next second, my own wife confiscated my target and locked her in a bedroom. The duck was on my plate. Lung Yu took the plate, the duck, and the entire table. So much for my domination arc. I sighed and looked at the only person left in the room. Su Chinga, sitting there. Innocent. Unguarded. Available. My eyes heated up instantly. Chinga, she flinched. What? I grabbed her hand with burning seriousness. Since they're having their bonding time, we shouldn't waste the night either. For the next 3 days, I'm putting you through real high-intensity special training. We're going to see if we can get you to entry level on the Heart Sutra. Su Chinga heard, special training, and her intuition screamed. But my face was so serious. So professional. So focused on cultivation. She chose to trust me. Good girl. I scooped her up bridal style and marched straight to the underground training room. Heavy alloy doors sealed shut behind us. 1 hour later. Liar. You're a huge liar. Sob. This is your high-intensity training. This is a training room. Not a bedroom. Su Chinga was red as a sunset, palms pushing against my chest. Eyes screaming, the longest road I've ever walked is the path of your lies. Okay, in my defense. The first 30 minutes were legitimate. I genuinely tried teaching her. Sat her down. Explained meridian pathways. Guided her breathing. Walked her through the spiritual sensing process step by step. Result? Absolutely. Nothing. She's a 1-star fighter. The foundation just isn't there. My proficient level Heart Sutra knowledge is great for personal use, but trying to explain interdimensional spiritual mechanics to a complete beginner? It's like teaching quantum physics to a golden retriever. Adorable but hopeless. After 30 minutes of zero progress, I made an executive decision. Plan A failed. Time for Plan B. See, the real solution is obvious. I need to level up the Heart Sutra higher, to a level where I can break things down simply enough for her to understand. To do that, I need development points. To get development points, I need, well, this is called sharpening the axe before chopping wood. It's strategic. You're too tense right now. Your meridians are completely stiff. How can you feel anything? This is deep bone relaxation therapy. I'm opening your mind-body barriers. This is for your benefit, the things I tell myself to sleep at night. Upstairs in the guest room, Shunru Shuang was lying in bed with a face mask on, eyes closed, perfectly relaxed. Lung Yu sat across from her pretending to read a magazine. Then Shunru Shuang's eyelashes twitched. Because through the floor, through military-grade soundproofing designed to block explosions, a faint, rhythmic, unmistakable sound drifted up to her 6-star superhuman ears. Her eyes flew open. She slowly turned toward Lung Yu with the most loaded expression in human history. TSK, TSK, TSK. Lung Yu. You. Heard that too, right? Lung Yu's fingers crushed the magazine so hard it crinkled. Of course she heard it. She heard it better than Shun Rushuan. 6-star peak hearing meant she could detect an ANT crawling in the basement if she wanted to. That was Su Chinga, being trained very thoroughly. It hadn't even been 1 hour since I went downstairs. That animal. Shin Rushuang is right upstairs and he can't even tone it down. But Lung Yu was a warrior. And warriors don't show weakness. Especially not in front of the enemy. She put down the magazine. Lifted her chin. Face, perfectly calm. Expression, Arctic lake in winter. 0 ripples. Heard what? I didn't hear anything. Vice President Shun, perhaps your traumatic experience today caused auditory hallucinations. Hallucinations? Shin Rushuang pointed at the floor. Click. Lung Yu grabbed the remote and blasted heavy metal rock music at maximum volume. The entire second floor shook with aggressive guitar riffs and thundering drums. Shin Rushuang almost fell off the bed. She stared at Lung Yu with her mouth hanging open. Lung Yu didn't even flinch. She picked up her magazine, which she'd been holding upside down for the past hour, and said with zero emotion, I find this piece quite enriching for the soul. Shin Rushuang's brain short-circuited. This was the legendary Ice Mountain Inspector? The woman who tolerated nothing? She was not only allowing this to happen, she was actively providing cover music? What dimension had she fallen into? The next 3 days were absolute psychological warfare for the 2 women trapped upstairs. Shin Rushuang was losing her mind. Not from boredom, from the constant, unrelenting, barely muffled evidence of my special training program, running 24/7 in the basement. By day 3, her face was flushed with something she refused to name, and she finally cracked. Lung Yu. What is your man made of? Is he a farm animal? 3 days. It's been 3 straight days. Does he not need to breathe? Her voice was pure shock and awe. Because let's be real, even as a 6-star fighter, Shin Rushuang admitted that this level of training intensity would have her legs giving out. Is Su Qingge even still alive down there? She asked with genuine concern. On the opposite sofa, Lung Yu was holding her magazine, still upside down, still on the same page she'd been reading for 72 hours. She had dark circles forming under her eyes. 3 days of heavy metal rock music and suppressed rage will do that. Inside her head was a hurricane. You absolute monster. The second I'm not down there supervising, you go full beast mode on Qingge? You used up your entire life supply on her in 3 days? The jealousy, the fury, the bizarre competitive instinct. All of it swirling into one terrifying promise. Chunyi, the second Shin Rushuang leaves this house, I will drain you until you can't stand. If I don't put you in a WHELCHAR, my name isn't Lung Yu, but out loud? Ice Queen mode. Maximum denial. Focus on resting, Vice President Shun. First hallucinations, now delusions. Your condition is deteriorating rapidly. I'm concerned. Meanwhile, deep in the basement. Well, let's just say the hibernating Dragon Heart Sutra was making excellent progress toward mastery level. And Su Qingge, she was alive. Barely. Questioning every life choice that led her to marrying a man with unlimited stamina and zero shame. 3 days of deep bone relaxation therapy. 3 days of opening mind-body barriers. 3 days of Lung Yu's upside-down magazine. My household is completely insane, and I regret nothing. Boom. If entry level was a well, and proficient was a lake, then mastery was a full-blown big bang inside my skull. My consciousness tripled in size. Spiritual energy flooding every corner of my brain like someone opened a cosmic dam. Ding. Spiritual mental power, 3%. Total, 4.1%. I opened my eyes. For a split second, my pupils turned completely dark purple. Like a demon lord waking up from a nap. An invisible psychic storm exploded outward from my body, sweeping the entire basement. Time to test this bad boy. Rise, one thought. That's all. And a 2,000-kilogram specialty alloy barbell in the far corner of the room. The one Su Qingge uses for exercise just floated into the air. Effortlessly, like picking up a feather with my brain. Last time at 1.1%, I couldn't budge it. Now, child's play. I gently carried my unconscious wife, who had been trained into a coma, to the restroom and tucked her in. She was so deeply asleep that a bomb wouldn't wake her. 3 days of intensive cultivation will do that to a person. Then I walked over to the strength testing machine. Time to see what this body could really do. Standard punch first. Hips and fist aligned. Basic power. Wham. Display. 6,500 kilograms. 65% gene development. 6,500 kilograms output. Math checks out. Normal. But normal is boring. I grabbed a pair of special protective gauntlets rated for Grandmaster level impacts. Took my stance. Started charging everything. Perfected Azure Dragon Spear intent, surging through my mind. Spiritual mental power, wrapping around my fist like invisible armor. Physical blood energy, roaring through every cell. 3 forces. 1 fist. Combined. HAA, boom. The entire underground chamber shook. The villa above us trembled like an earthquake hit it. I actually stumbled back half a step from my own punch. I looked down at my hand. The Grandmaster-rated gauntlets had disintegrated, shredded into confetti hanging off my knuckles. My fist bones were throbbing. If those gloves hadn't absorbed some of the recoil, my whole arm would have exploded from the backlash. And the testing machine? The screen was spitting garbled nonsense. Black smoke rising. The alloy target was caved in so deep it looked like a meteor crater. This machine maxes out at 30,000 kilograms. I just broke it with 1 punch. Chunyi, what happened? The basement door slammed open. Lung Yu and Shin Rushuang charged in like a SWAT team. Shin Rushuang was in front, and she ran face first into the sight of me standing there, shirtless, drenched in sweat, muscles glistening, radiating raw predatory energy. Her whole body flinched. Face went tomato red in 0.5 seconds. I'll just Go back upstairs. She spun around and fled without looking back. 3 days of listening through the floor, and now she can't handle the visual? Interesting. Lung Yu marched in full of worry. Saw me looking perfectly fine and switched instantly to fury. She grabbed a shirt and threw it at my face. What are you doing down here? Hey, you opened the door without asking. Not my fault. Don't give me that. The whole house shook like a bomb went off. I thought you literally made someone explode. Lung Yu, please. Am I that kind of person? I just had a small cultivation breakthrough and tested it. Cultivation? She laughed like a villain. You call the last 3 days cultivation? But mid-roast, her eyes drifted past my shoulder to the smoking, cratered testing machine. Her anger froze solid. The tester broke? She walked over and touched the warped, scorched alloy crater. Still burning hot. Chunyi, how much force did you just hit with? I buttoned my shirt, casual as ever. No idea. Machine max is at 30,000 kilograms, and it died. So, more than that. Lung Yu's voice went quiet. The testing cap is 30,000. But the machine's structural limit is 50,000. To actually break it, you'd need over 50,000 kilograms of force. 50,000? Even I didn't expect that. The spiritual power multiplier was absolutely insane. Pure striking force beyond 7-star, maybe even 8-star grandmasters. As a 6-star, Lung Yu stared at me like I was an alien wearing a human costume. Her worldview was crumbling in real time. She knew about the spiritual power. She knew about the spear mastery. But raw fist power exceeding ordinary grandmasters? At 6-star? This wasn't genius territory anymore. This was human-shaped beast territory. And I could see it. 3 days of pent-up fury slowly draining from her face. In the martial world, monsters get special privileges. Hard to stay mad at someone who just punched a hole through reality. Plus, she could feel it. Something about me had fundamentally changed in the last 3 days. Something deep and indescribable. A transformation that went beyond normal training. The gears were turning behind those phoenix eyes. Did this shameless man actually get stronger through that? Was this special training actually real training? Yes, Lung Yu. Yes, it was. Every sweaty, scandalous, magazine-flipping, heavy metal blasting minute of it. Science. Lung Yu glanced at the restroom where Su Chinga was sleeping the sleep of the dead and sighed. Fine, stop showing off. Get ready. The Provincial Association Gala is tonight. Don't be late. Yes, ma'am. Wifey. Who's your wifey? Face. Crimson. Cause. Rage and embarrassment in equal measure. She turned to leave, but my arm was faster. I snagged her wrist, yanked her back, and locked her into my chest like a heat-seeking missile finding its target. What are you? Let go. She went stiff for 1 second, then melted like butter on a hot pan. My chest was basically a furnace, and my hands were doing that thing she pretends to hate, but definitely doesn't. Shen Rushuang is upstairs. Her voice was basically a whisper at this point. Barely audible. These 3 days, I kept wanting to be alone with you. But there was never a chance. I felt her heart skip. The anger crumbled. Sweetness flooded in. But then she remembered the 3-day marathon downstairs, and her jealousy reignited. Oh really? You seemed plenty entertained. Forgot all about me, didn't you? Correction. I pinched her waist. That wasn't entertainment. That was hard work. For our family's future. Day and night, tireless effort. Do you know how difficult my job is? The eye roll she gave me could have been seen from space. Then I pulled out the king blood essence and pressed it into her hand. Shen Rushuang delivered this. I've been holding it for you. Tonight, while I'm at the gala, you stay in the training room and drink it. Go into closed cultivation. Her eyes went wide. This is yours, dummy. What's mine is yours. You get stronger, I get stronger. How many times do I have to explain this? All resistance evaporated. She cursed at me softly, pocketed the vial, and I could practically see hearts floating around her head. Upstairs, Shen Rushuang was already waiting in a backless black evening gown that should be classified as a weapon. Curves so dangerous they could cause traffic accidents. She kept glancing at the basement entrance with suspicious eyes. They've been down there a while. Are they? Her brain supplied an image of my shirtless body from earlier, and her face went hot. I walked out looking fresh in a perfectly tailored dark suit, clean, sharp, radiating main character energy. Where's Lung Yu? She smirked. Closed cultivation. Breaking through. Tonight it's just us. I offered my arm like a gentleman. Vice President Shun, I'm afraid you'll have to be my date this evening. She blinked. Then understanding dawned. Then a devastating smile bloomed across her face as she hooked her arm through mine. Little boy, sending Lung Yu away on purpose? Getting bolder by the day, 1 hour later. Linjiang Victory Hotel. Provincial Association Gala. Crystal chandeliers. Gold light everywhere. Champagne flowing. The entire building locked down with vice president level security. Every noble family, government official, and young elite in the province packed into one room. Then I walked in. The entire ballroom went quiet. My suit was doing work. 6-star peak physique filling out every tailored line. But the real showstopper was the mastery-level Heart Sutra effect, an invisible aura of depth and mystery that made me feel like a bottomless well. People couldn't look at me without feeling their hearts race. Shen Rushuang on my arm was absolutely stunning. But even she, this goddess-level beauty, became the supporting character next to whatever energy I was radiating. Who I asked that? When did the province get someone like him? So young. I can feel his blood energy from across the room. Those eyes. I looked at him for 1 second and got dizzy. Noble ladies and family princesses were whispering everywhere, fanning themselves, trying not to stare. In the center of the hall, the 3 top young elites of the province, Zhao Kuanxian, Qian Yutong, and Sun Mengdai, were holding court surrounded by bootlicking second-generation rich kids. The instant I walked in, all 3 of them put down their drinks simultaneously, exchanged looks, then walked over and greeted me first. In front of everyone. The entire room lost its collective mind. Did Zhao Kuanxian just approach him? Qian Yutong never initiates conversation. Who I asked this guy? Must be from the capital. A group of pretty noble girls cornered Sun Mengdai. Who I asked that gorgeous man? Sun Mengdai looked at me, then at Shen Rushuang on my arm, and I caught a hint of something sour in her voice. Stop guessing. He's not from the capital. His name is Chunyi. He's the new chief of our provincial genius camp. Pause. Don't bother getting ideas. He's a real monster. And the woman next to him is Vice President Shun of the South River Martial Association. Peak 6-star, the socialites deflated instantly. Dreams crushed. Fantasies terminated. No wonder he's the chief. We definitely don't stand a chance. Then the room went dead silent. The main doors opened one more time. A man with shoulders like a mountain and an aura like a black hole stepped inside. Every footstep made the air heavier. The kind of pressure that doesn't just fill a room, it commands it. Grandmaster Lei, a 7-star grandmaster. And if I remembered correctly, the uncle of a certain little girl I caught falling off a bridge 3 days ago. This was about to get very interesting. Grandmaster Lei walked into the gala holding the hand of a little girl with big, sparkly eyes. And I immediately recognized her. That was the kid I caught mid-air with telekinesis on the collapsing bridge. Shen Rushuang saw her too and nearly choked on her own breath. She'd thought we saved a random civilian child. Nope. We saved a grandmaster's niece. I just smiled. Now it all makes sense. The rushed awards. The S-Class Technique Prize. The VIP Gala. Elder Qin didn't organize all this in 2 hours. Grandmaster Lei did. This whole evening was his thank you card. The man stepped up to the podium. Zero small talk. Pure authority. Tonight we honor the heroes of the highway bridge disaster. As a fellow martial artist, I want to express my personal gratitude. He patted the little girl's head, voice going unexpectedly soft. Among those rescued was my family. Without the warriors who intervened at that critical moment, my niece would be gone. The room erupted in whispers. A grandmaster's family was saved. Who saved them? That's a lifetime of favor. Every ambitious family heir in the room was practically drooling with jealousy. A grandmaster owing you a debt? That's a golden ticket to the top of society. Please welcome Provincial Genius Camp Chief Chun Yi and South River City Vice President Shen Rushuang to the stage. Every eyeball in the building pointed at me. Shen Rushuang and I walked up together. On stage, Grandmaster Lei personally pinned the medals on our chests. When he got to me, he paused. Those terrifying warrior eyes softened into something almost gentle. He put his massive hand on my shoulder. 2 pats. Thank you. 2 words. But they carried the weight of a mountain. You're too kind, Grandmaster Lei. That was it. Short. Clean. A grandmaster publicly backing me in front of the entire province's elite. The message was crystal clear to every person in that room. Touch these 2 and you answer to me. After that, The second half of the gala became the Chun Yi and Shun Rushuang show. Family heads lined up to toast us like we were royalty. Second-generation rich kids couldn't even get close. I basically got promoted to uncle generation status in one evening. Then we got pulled into a private VIP room. Grandmaster Lei was sitting behind a tea set, casually brewing tea, all his scary aura turned off. Little Ñoño was playing with toys on a cushion nearby. Sit. He poured us tea personally. A grandmaster pouring MYT. On stage, I kept things formal to avoid drawing too much attention to you. But here, let me say it properly. Ñoño let go of her uncle's hand and toddled over to us. Uncle. Auntie. Thank you for saving Ñoño. Uncle. Uncle? I'm an uncle now? My smile froze. I'm not even 20, and I've been aged up to uncle status by a 5-year-old. This is how mortality hits you. Meanwhile, Shen Rushuang was beaming. Getting called Auntie at nearly 50? She was thriving. Women are built different. We tried to refuse what came next. We really did. Grandmaster Lei pulled out 2 fancy boxes. The awards on stage were from the association, public recognition. These are from me. Personal gifts. If I can't even properly thank the people who saved my brother's child, I don't deserve to show my face in this province. For Shun Rushuang, a property deed. Riverside Estate in South River City. Worth tens of millions. She nearly fell out of her chair. And for me, this is a piece of Millennium Thunderstruck wood. He pushed the long box toward me. I practice body hardening techniques. Pure yang, pure force. This thing is just an ugly chunk of wood collecting dust in my warehouse. But I've heard that for people who cultivate spiritual mental power, objects that contain heaven's lightning energy can greatly nourish the spirit. I don't understand that stuff, but I figure it's better in your hands than rotting in my storage room. He said it casually, like giving away a piece of furniture he didn't want. But I knew exactly what this was. A Millennium Thunderstruck wood, infused with 1,000 years of natural lightning, was practically a legendary artifact for spiritual cultivation. The kind of thing money literally cannot buy. He was handing me a spiritual nuclear reactor disguised as clearing out the garage. I tried to refuse. Grandmaster Lei, this is too much. Don't be a woman about it. He waved his hand with authority that shut down all further protests. These things are useless to me. They'll be useful to you. Take them. End of discussion. So basically, I accidentally caught a falling child with my brain, and in return I got a medal, an S-class technique of my choice, a Grandmaster's eternal gratitude, 1,000-year-old spiritual cultivation artifact, and the entire province knowing my name. Best catch ever. Grandmaster Lei pushed the boxes forward one more time. If you refuse again, you're disrespecting me. That's Grandmaster speak for. Take the gifts or I'll be offended. And offending a 7-star Grandmaster is approximately 0 slots above, jumping into a volcano, on my to-do list. Then I gratefully accept. I reach for the Thunderstruck wood box, and the second my fingers touched it, my consciousness, went berserk. A tiny, invisible bolt of energy shot through the wood, through the box, through my fingers, and slammed into my spiritual core like a lightning strike from heaven itself. My brain lit up like a Christmas tree. The spiritual energy inside me started drinking from this thing like a man lost in the desert finding a water fountain. 1,000 years of accumulated lightning essence, feeding directly into my freshly upgraded mental power. It was like putting premium fuel into a race car. Like watering a plant with liquid miracle. Like, what happened? Grandmaster Lei's eyes narrowed. He couldn't sense spiritual energy, but as a 7-star, he could tell something in my aura just shifted. Got tighter, cleaner, more refined. I exhaled slowly, forcing down the internal fireworks. Grandmaster Lei, this is incredible. This would genuinely nourish his spiritual power. The effect on my cultivation is beyond anything I could have imagined. His face broke into the biggest grin I'd ever seen on a Grandmaster. Haha, then it found the right owner. Use it well, kid. I want to see you dominate at the Southern District Championship in 2 months. Shen Rushuang was watching me with narrowed eyes. She couldn't feel what I felt, but she could read my expression. And she knew that chunk of wood was worth 100 times more than her fancy riverside property. The jealousy on her face was exquisite. Chief Chen really hit the jackpot tonight, she teased. We headed back to the main hall with Grandmaster Lei and little Ñoño. The whole evening had been an absolute heist. Metal, S-class technique, Grandmaster backing, Millennium spiritual artifact. All because I caught one kid with my brain. Return on investment, infinite. But as we re-entered the ballroom, something caught my attention. A server. Female. Her eyes were wrong. Tracking people with a focus that didn't match, carrying champagne. I quietly pulsed my spiritual sense toward her. Dark yellow beast energy. Faint. Hidden deep. Same type as what I detected in Lijian, just 100 times weaker. Same source. Same organization. Someone connected to the Heaven Gate cult was here. At a provincial gala. Wearing a waiter's uniform. I filed that away and kept walking. Not the time. Not the place. Then ding. Hum. My tiger leopard thunder sound fired off spontaneously. A deep, powerful hum resonated through my entire body without warning. Detected. Partner, Lung Yu, is actively refining King Blood Essence. 10x feedback triggered. Congratulations. Gene development 1%. Current gene development 66%. A river of heat poured into me from nowhere. Every cell in my body started partying. Blood flow accelerated. My skin took on a faint jade-like glow. That was Lung Yu. At home. In the training room. Absorbing the King Blood Essence I gave her. And I was getting 10 times the benefit while casually strolling through a gala in a suit. Good girl, Xiao Yu. Keep going. Your husband's future depends on you. Shenru Shuang was still holding my arm. She felt everything. The sudden heat surge. The aura spike. The unmistakable signature of a physical breakthrough happening in real time. She froze mid-step. Eyes going saucer-wide. What? What? In her entire career as a martial artist, she'd understood one fundamental truth. Improving gene development requires years of grinding, top-tier resources, and expert guidance. I just powered up while walking. At a party, holding a drink. Did you absorb that King Blood Essence I gave you already? I looked at her with my most innocent face. Technically, my wife absorbed it. Same thing. The medicine worked fast. Good quality stuff. Shenru Shuang bit down on her teeth so hard I could hear them grinding. She stared at me with an expression that combined awe, jealousy, disbelief, and the dawning realization that everything she thought she knew about cultivation was wrong. This is what a real genius looks like. I used to think I was talented too. But compared to this man, I'm a joke. Welcome to my world, Vice President Shun. Where the rules don't apply, wives are cultivation resources, and breakthroughs happen between appetizers and dessert. Shenru Shuang spotted the suspicious waitress heading for the exit. Aren't you going to follow her? That's a lead. I snorted, wrapped my arm around Shenru Shuang's waist, and headed for the door. One disposable pawn isn't worth my time. That's what staff are for. I'd already texted the details to my assigned specialist. Description, badge number, exit route. Done. Let the professionals handle the grunt work. I have wives to cultivate. Besides, my 2 wives are waiting at home for coaching. Can't waste my evening chasing small fry. Shenru Shuang rolled her eyes. Smack. Watch where you're putting that hand. Back at the villa. Su Qingge was curled up on the sofa in a silk robe, still looking like someone who'd survived a natural disaster. Rosy cheeks. Lazy eyes. The unmistakable aura of a woman who'd been trained for 72 straight hours. She stood up when I walked in, then saw Shenru Shuang behind me, and her ears went volcanic red. Because she knew. Everyone in this house knew. The sounds from the basement had been broadcasting through military-grade soundproofing for 3 days to 2 women with superhuman hearing. Vice President Shun. Husband. Welcome back. She said it like someone reading their own death sentence. Shenru Shuang scanned her with those X-ray eyes, noted the glow, noted the wobbly legs, noted everything, and thought, what spell does this man have on these women? Where's Lung Yu? Jie is still in closed cultivation downstairs. Shenru Shuang glanced at me with something sour in her expression, then headed for the basement. I'll go check on her. The second she disappeared down the stairs, I made my move. I grabbed Su Qingge and pulled her into my arms. EK. She went stiff, then completely boneless. Tried to push me away with the strength of a wet tissue. Stop. Let Gio. Shenru Shuang is still here. Don't do this here. Her voice cracked. Actual tears forming. What do? Qingge wifey, your mind is in the gutter. I just wanted to. Shenru Shuang is here. Lung Yu is here. And you still want to torment me? She was shaking now. Full crying mode activated. Do you think I have no self-respect? Am I just a tool for you to use? I'm never practicing that spiritual technique again. Never. Not in this lifetime. She buried her face in my chest and sobbed. Oh no. Oh no. I broke her. 3 days of deep bone relaxation therapy, followed by me immediately grabbing her the moment we're alone. From her perspective, I was an insatiable monster with zero regard for her dignity. Hey, Chinga, I wasn't going to. I actually have a breakthrough in teaching method now. I can genuinely help you. Wah, more crying. Louder crying. I was more innocent than a baby lamb, and nobody was going to believe me. The crying triggered the house alarm system, also known as the other two women. Thud, thud, thud. Lung Yu and Shin Rushuang came sprinting up the stairs like a SWAT response team. Lung Yu took one look at Su Chinga's tear-stained face, and her eyes went nuclear. Chinyi, you bastard. Her palm came flying at my shoulder with the force of a 6-star peak warrior's fury. But here's where things got interesting. Half an inch from my skin, her hand hit an invisible wall. My spiritual power, now massively upgraded from the Thunderstruck Wood boost and the Heart Sutra mastery, automatically generated a protective membrane around my body. Her devastating slap landed on my shoulder like a gentle pat. Lung Yu's rage face froze. Her eyes went wide. She stared at her own hand, then at my shoulder, then at me. What? What? His spiritual barrier is this strong now? When did he power up again? 3 days ago, she could have rocked me with that hit. Now her full-force slap bounced off me like hitting a pillow, and I just stood there looking confused and unjustly accused, holding my crying wife, wondering how. I actually learned how to teach you properly now. Turned into, everyone thinks I'm a sex-crazed maniac. This is my life. Punching strength over 50,000 kilograms. Spiritual power that blocks Grandmaster-level slaps. An S-class technique waiting to be claimed. A Grandmaster owing me favors. A Thunderstruck Wood feeding my soul. And I still can't convince my own wife that I genuinely wanted to do actual training. Nobody would believe me. I don't even believe myself anymore. Lung Yu didn't care about my spiritual barrier revelation. She had priorities. What did you do to her? Why is Chinga crying? I threw my hands up. Nothing. I literally just told her I had a breakthrough in the Heart Sutra and wanted to help her train. Real training. Actual, legitimate training. Heh. Shin Rushuang was leaning against the doorframe, legs crossed, smirking like she had front-row seats to the best show in town. Wasn't 3 days and 3 nights of breakthrough enough? Chief Chin. Lung Yu added her own blade. Oh, you think you're ready for more? The double meaning in, ready for more, could have filled a dictionary. I am ready. This time it's different. My Heart Sutra genuinely reached mastery level. I can actually teach now. Nobody believed me. 3 women. 6 eyeballs. 0 trust. Su Chinga was in the back doing mental warfare with herself. Maybe he really means actual training this time. No. Wake up, Su Chinga. You said that last time. And the time before. This man has never told the truth. He just wants to. She sniffled and shook her head stubbornly. I looked at these 3 women staring at me like I was a convicted criminal and made my decision. Fine. Don't believe me? Lung Yu, come downstairs. I'll prove it. Shin Rushuang's eyebrow arched. And how proper is this proving going to be, Vice President Shin? If you're so curious, come watch. Consider it. Critical observation. Watch? She laughed. Your private couples training session? What am I? A light bulb? My turn for the eye roll. I went full serious mode. This technique involves the deepest mysteries of the consciousness, sea, and physical resonance. Without experienced guidance, nobody can enter the door. I've had a genuine epiphany, and I want to help both my wives break through. Both wives? Shin Rushuang's teasing smile froze for 1 second. TSK. Both wives, he says. Shut up. Lung Yu's face exploded red. I just casually said, both wives, in front of Shin Rushuang like announcing the weather. Whatever. The secret had been obvious for days. Time to stop pretending. I straightened my back and delivered my masterpiece. Vice President Shun, there is nothing improper here. We are warriors fighting for humanity's future. In the face of catastrophe, every ounce of strength matters. To view this sacred martial exchange through narrow, worldly lenses is not only inappropriate, it is an insult to the spirit of martial arts itself. I said this with the conviction of a man accepting a Nobel Peace Prize. Lung Yu's jaw dropped. She bit her lip so hard it turned white. How? How can he make this sound noble? Shin Rushuang was genuinely speechless for 5 full seconds. Then she burst out laughing. For humanity's future? Chen Yi, you are unbelievable. Even Su Qingge, hiding behind Lung Yu, felt her anger mysteriously dissolving. He's obviously lying, but what if I really am being too narrow-minded? No, bad thought. Resist. Enough talk. I grabbed one wife in each hand. Full authority. Zero debate. Tonight, I show you what real coaching looks like. Vice President Shun, bring your skepticism downstairs and observe. I dragged both women toward the basement. Behind us, Shin Rushuang licked her lips. Critical observation, she followed. Underground training room. Holographic projections blazing. Lung Yu ignored me completely, pulled Su Qingge down, and they both sat cross-legged in front of the meridian diagrams. Her plan was obvious. With Shin Rushuang watching, I wouldn't dare try anything physical. Finally, some real quiet meditation time. She lasted 2 minutes before I appeared in front of her like a pop quiz. Xiaoyu, why the furrowed brow? Stuck on this spirit descent step? Tell me what's wrong. Inside her head. Here we go. He's going to pretend to be a teacher, spout nonsense. And then somehow this ends with me on a massage table. I've seen this movie 3 times already, but Shin Rushuang was watching. So Lung Yu played along. Fine. This part says, the mind spirit is like mercury. When it meets fire, it flies. Every time I try to push my spiritual power down into my dantian, my blood energy erupts and I can't control it. She crossed her arms. Go ahead. Try to BS your way through this one. I barely glanced at the diagram. You understood it backwards. Lung Yu blinked. Meets fire, flies doesn't mean you fight the fire. It means you ride it. I drew a wave pattern in the air with one finger. The Heart Sutra's core is asleep. The harder you push down, the more your spirit tenses. Instead, imagine your spiritual power as a feather. Let the heat of your blood energy lift it. Float with it. And when the blood energy naturally recedes, that's the moment you sink. Don't use force. Borrow force. Silence. Total. Absolute. Silence. Lung Yu's entire body went rigid. Her eyes went wide, like lightning striking in complete darkness. Because in that one explanation, casual, effortless, taking me 5 seconds, I had just solved the problem she'd been smashing her head against for days. The look on her face? Priceless. And behind me, Shin Rushuang's smirk had quietly vanished, replaced by something she didn't expect to feel. Genuine awe. Turns out, sometimes the shameless pervert actually is a genius teacher. Who knew? Feather. Riding the wave. Borrowing force. I could literally see the light bulb explode above Lung Yu's head. Her entire body jolted like she'd been electrocuted by understanding. She looked at me like I'd grown a second head. How? Last night he couldn't explain anything clearly. Now he's suddenly surgically precise? She didn't waste a single second questioning it. When enlightenment knocks, you open the door. Her eyes slammed shut and she dropped into the deepest meditation I'd ever seen from her. Spiritual energy started pulsing around her body immediately. Shin Rushuang's jaw was on the floor. She looked at meditating Lung Yu, looked at casual me, looked back at Lung Yu. This is fake, right? He said 2 sentences of mystical nonsense, and she's pretending to have an epiphany? Do they think I'm 5? But she's a 6-star fighter. Her senses don't lie. And the spiritual fluctuations radiating off Lung Yu right now? Those were real. Unmistakable. Impossible to fake. She turned to me. Her voice was actually trembling. Chen Yi, your Heart Sutra. You can really teach them? Yep. I nodded like I'd just confirmed the weather was nice. Shin Rushuang's scalp went numb. 7-star and 8-star grandmasters can't crack this technique. Most people spend their entire lives unable to touch the threshold. And this man was giving casual roadside directions to enlightenment. Then Su Qingge, my sweet, wronged, sobbing wife from 10 minutes ago, looked at Lung Yu entering deep meditation, and her competitive instinct erupted. Wait, he was actually trying to teach me? This wasn't a trick? And now Lung Yu is getting the lesson first because I cried and refused? She bit her lip, turned to me, eyes burning with determination. Husband, I don't understand this part. Shin Rushuang's brain almost crashed. A 1-star fighter wants to learn an S-class spiritual technique that grandmasters can't master? Has everyone in this house gone insane? And then I said, sure, I'll teach you. I grabbed the wooden box from Grandmaster Lei, popped it open, pulled out the Millennium Thunderstruck wood, black as coal with faint purple veins pulsing through it, and handed it to Su Chinga. Hold this. A grandmaster gave it to us today. It helps with spiritual perception. Shen Rushuang was physically swallowing with jealousy. A legendary cultivation artifact being handed to a one-star fighter like it was a stress ball? Lunatics. This whole family is certifiably insane. But Su Chinga just took it, trustingly. Then asked me questions like a diligent first grader. Husband, this line, hibernate like winter. Does that mean empty my mind like falling asleep in the snow? Exactly. Imagine being buried in snow. And one point of mind spirit, you know that fuzzy moment right before you fall asleep? That exact feeling. 2 questions. 2 answers. Simple words. No jargon. Su Chinga closed her eyes. Her breathing instantly became long and rhythmic. She hadn't produced spiritual energy yet, but her state, that half-asleep, perfectly relaxed resonance, was textbook entry preparation. A one-star fighter, 2 plain language sentences, and she was already entering the zone. Shen Rushuang stood there like she'd been struck by lightning. Mouth open, eyes the size of plates, brain on fire. She asked 2 kindergarten-level questions, and she's already in meditation state? What is this man? Then something broke inside Shen Rushuang. All her pride, her vice president dignity, her careful distance, her "I'm just here to observe" attitude. All of it crumbled like that highway bridge. Because she suddenly understood, she was watching something that grandmasters would BG for. Personal coaching from someone who could teach the unteachable. And this chance would never come again. Her breathing got faster. Her cheeks flushed. She turned to me. Those beautiful peach blossom eyes locked onto mine with raw, desperate hunger. Chinyi, I want to learn too. Can you teach me? Her voice was dry, hoarse. Every drop of flirtation and teasing gone. Just pure, naked desire, for power, for growth, for the chance to touch something she'd never dreamed possible. I looked at her, deep purple flickering in my eyes. Let's talk upstairs. Don't disturb their meditation. I walked out without waiting for her answer. Shen Rushuang stood frozen for 3 full seconds. Looked at Lung Yu in deep trance. Looked at Su Chinga holding the thunder wood with peaceful concentration. Looked at the stairs where I'd disappeared. She bit her lip and chased after me. The hunter was becoming the hunted. And the shameless man who spent 3 days doing special training in a mirror-walled basement just proved he was, in fact, the greatest spiritual cultivation teacher in this entire province. Nobody will ever believe this story. Moonlight poured through the windows as I walked past the living room and headed straight upstairs to the master bedroom. I pushed the door open, hit the warm lights. Click. Shen Rushuang followed me in and closed the door behind her. The atmosphere went from 0 to dangerous in approximately 0.3 seconds. She was standing at the door, chest heaving, that backless black gown doing absolutely criminal things under the golden lighting. The composed, untouchable vice president facade? Gone. She actually looked nervous. Chinyi, her voice had gone husky. She leaned against the door, arms crossed under her chest, which, let me tell you, did not help reduce the tension in this room. Chief Chun, bringing me to the master bedroom in the middle of the night, she stepped closer. One manicured fingernail traced a slow line across my chest, breath warm against my neck. Do you really just want to teach me cultivation? Full mature woman seduction mode. The kind of energy that would make any lesser man's knees buckle on the spot. Too bad for her. I'm not a lesser man. In one motion, I grabbed her wrist like a steel clamp and yanked her toward me. EK, she crashed into my chest. Full contact. Her eyes went wide with genuine shock. She'd expected me to flirt back, maybe stammer, maybe blush. She did not expect me to take control. I tilted her chin up with my other hand, forcing those gorgeous peach blossom eyes to meet mine. Purple light flickering in my gaze. Vice President Shun, weren't you the one begging me to teach you downstairs? Getting cold feet already? Her brain short-circuited. The scent of the room. My blood energy radiating like a furnace. The invisible blanket of spiritual power wrapping around her. The feeling of being completely overpowered by someone younger, stronger, and utterly in command. Something ancient and buried deep inside Shen Rushuang. Something she'd locked away behind years of authority and loneliness, ignited. The clever, teasing fox eyes went misty. Her body melted into me like she'd lost her skeleton. Every ounce of her, I'm in control. Energy evaporated like morning dew. She'd come upstairs thinking she was the cat. Turns out she was the mouse. And the mouse didn't want to escape. Ring. My specialist called. Worst timing in human history. But duty calls. I answered while multitasking. Mr. Chun, apologies for the late call. That female server you reported at the Victory Hotel, we deployed a 5-star strike team to track her. But she displayed extremely professional counter-surveillance skills and shook our 5-star team leader completely. Target is lost. My eyes went cold. Hand paused mid-motion. Lost her? Yes, sir. Deeply sorry. For someone to vanish under a 5-star fighter's watch. Mr. Chun, have you encountered any other unusual situations recently? Please contact us immediately if anything comes up. I felt Shin Rushuang tense against me, picking up on my shift in mood. Nothing else for now. I'll reach out if anything changes. Please be careful, sir. The situation is volatile. I hung up and tossed the phone aside. Purple light flickered through my eyes as I processed the implications. A spy at a high-security provincial gala, carrying beast origin energy, professional enough to escape a 5-star pursuit team, connected to the same organization that turned Li Zhan into bird food. Was this Grandmaster Yao again, or something bigger? The Heaven Gate cult? Either way, the message was clear. I was being watched. And whoever was watching had resources and skills that exceeded normal channels. I needed to get stronger, faster. Grandmaster level was the minimum safe threshold. Anything below that, and I was just a slightly bigger target. The path forward was obvious. And conveniently, the next step in that path was lying right here in my arms, looking up at me with eyes that had completely surrendered. Strategic necessity and personal desire, perfectly aligned. For humanity's future, of course. Several pages of content redacted by the author, Vice President Shun. That was just the warm-up. Come on, let's continue. Shin Rushuang heard. Continue. And her soul left her body. Her face went from flushed to ghost white. She shook her head so fast it could generate electricity. I can't. I really can't. Chin Yi, have mercy. I'm thirsty. I need water. Please let me rest. This woman commands an entire city's martial association. She's faced down criminals, negotiated with grandmasters, survived a beast emperor attack. And she was now begging for a water break like a recruit on day 1 of boot camp. I rolled my eyes, got off the bed, threw on a robe, filled a glass of warm water, and brought it back. What are you thinking? I flicked her forehead. I meant your meridians are wide open right now, and your blood energy is at peak activity. This is the perfect moment to practice the Heart Sutra. You've been begging me to teach you, remember? She chugged half the glass, then froze mid-sip. Stared at me. You're actually talking about cultivation right now? Stop wasting time. Sit cross-legged. Center yourself. My voice shifted, serious, commanding, laced with spiritual power. Teacher mode activated. Don't look at diagrams. Listen to my voice. Catch that spark before it fades. Try to feel the spiritual wave. She gritted her teeth, forced her exhausted body upright, and focused. I feel it. Her eyes flew open with joy. She touched it. A flicker of spiritual awareness in the dark, like finding a match in a pitch-black room. And then her excitement killed it. The spark vanished. Gone. ARGH. She punched the mattress in frustration. She glared at me, sitting there casually sipping tea like I'd just come back from a light stroll. Not a drop of sweat. Not a hint of fatigue. Perfectly relaxed. She was so furious at the unfairness that she could barely think straight. Every genius in this province wakes up at dawn to grind. Elder Qin, Grandmaster Su. All of them dedicate every waking moment to pure training. And this man spends his time doing this. And somehow he's stronger than all of them. He's not human. He's a prehistoric beast wearing a human suit. She changed into her backup combat suit. Thank God she'd packed one. Because if she'd had to ask Lung Yui for clothes, she would rather headbutt a wall until death. Speaking of Lung Yu, Shin Rushuang caught her own reflection in the mirror. Flushed cheeks, dreamy eyes, that unmistakable post-cultivation glow. 2 days ago, she was mocking Lung Yu for falling for a man a generation younger, laughing at how the mighty Ice Queen got conquered. And now, we've competed our whole lives. Rankings, resources, even who's prettier. And now we're competing over the same man. Shin Rushuang, you've completely lost your mind. She went into the bathroom. Cold water. Need to think clearly. The shower started running. Then the bathroom door opened behind her. Get out. Let me shower alone. Protest denied. Much later, the bathroom door finally opened. Steam everywhere. I leaned in for one more kiss and got shoved back. She finally understood. Completely. Why Lung Yu, the proudest, coldest, most untouchable woman in the province, was utterly and totally under my control. Because I am not a human being. My stamina, my blood energy, my spiritual pressure. I'm basically a mythical creature in a man-shaped container. Shen Rushuang gripped the handrail and began the long, careful journey downstairs. Each step sent trembling waves of soreness through her legs. Every stair was a battle. She reached the landing between floors and stopped, because the basement training room door was opening at that exact moment. And Lung Yu was walking out. The new Lung Yu, radiating a sharp, compressed, blade-like aura. My earlier teaching had clearly worked. She'd made massive progress in her cultivation. Lung Yu looked up. Shen Rushuang looked down. Their eyes met. The air solidified. Two 6-star peak female warriors. Former rivals. Current. Something else entirely. Both standing on different staircases. One coming from the training room. One coming from the bedroom. Both walking funny. For very different reasons. The silence was so thick you could cut it with a sword.